San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? And happy Friday to everybody out there in America's finest city. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. It's good to be with all of you here on a Friday. Big shout out to Squirrely and to Readies in the chat for joining our membership. We appreciate you guys. And thank you very much for joining the fandom of the Braden Surprenant Show. We are looking forward to adding more and more as we continue. We have a fun-filled day tomorrow, of course. On a Saturday, we're going to be live at Petco Park as part of Fan Fest. We're looking forward to that. Mason Miller will join us, is scheduled to join us. Joe Musgrove is scheduled to join us tomorrow. We're going to be on from 12 to 2 talking all Padres baseball at Fan Fest. We'll be out there live again. Come on down. Come hang out with us. It should be a fun time at Petco Park. We're really looking forward to it. Morning show is going to have Jason Adam on. He's scheduled to come on. Craig Stammen is scheduled to come on with the morning show as well. So that's going to be a nice way to start the morning. And then to finish up the afternoon, Jake Cronenworth, Jake Peavy are going to join the afternoon show. Should be a fun time. And again, we really appreciate you guys supporting us as we are out there at FanFest. We got a lot to get into today when it comes to the sports world in San Diego. Obviously, tomorrow is also a very big day for Aztecs basketball. San Diego State's got a big game against Utah State tomorrow. And when you look at where everything stands right now in the grand scheme of things for men's college basketball, San Diego State could use a win. San Diego State could use a win against Utah State. Is it an end-all, be-all? Not really. But they have 3 potential quad one games left, including this one at Utah State. They need to get at least one of the wins. They got to get at least one of the wins and get a quad one win. As of right now, in the latest rendition of Joe Lunardi's bracketology, which came out this morning, San Diego State has jumped up to a 10 seed, which is nice. Aztecs are still listed as the #1 team in the Mountain West Conference as an automatic qualifier because they are in first place in the Mountain West Conference. But as of right now, looking at a 10 seed for San Diego State, according to Joe Lunardi, as in playing Villanova in St. Louis, paired with Illinois and Wright State. So very important game for San Diego State. Other members of the Mountain West Conference, Utah State's already got a spot in. New Mexico right now is one of the last 4 in as they try to battle to get a third team in from the Mountain West Conference into the NCAA tournament. So looking at the bracketology, Aztecs could really use a win tomorrow against Utah State. And in that game tomorrow, this is a game that obviously is for first place, but this is a game against the team that has been ranked this season. This is a game against the team that has done very well at home. They're 17-3. They're 8-2 in Mountain West Conference play. And this is a game is going to be played at 10 in the morning. It's a 10 a.m. game, San Diego State, Utah State on CBS. It's going to be on big CBS. So this is a national showcase for the Aztecs to go out there and show that they deserve to be in the NCAA tournament and not have to win the Mountain West tournament outright. It's a huge game for the Aztecs. And whether or not we will see LZ Harrington remains to be seen. Still waiting reports on that. Doesn't sound like Magoon Guath is going to play. As John Rothstein reported that Magoon Guath was going to be out tomorrow against Utah State. So San Diego State goes in there. They're not at full strength, but it's going to be probably Reese Dixon Waters that's going to have to step up. It's going to be Miles Bird that's going to have to step up. And the Aztecs have a really good opportunity to solidify themselves atop of the Mountain West Conference standings. Utah State's 8-2 right now. And with the win, they would be tied with the Aztecs and would have the tiebreaker in first place. So you've been in first place this entire time. You want to stay in first place. You have to win to stay in first place if you are San Diego State. Last night, UC San Diego. Not that great of a performance for the Tritons. In fact, the Tritons have now fallen down to 500 in Big West play. They're tied with Fullerton, Northridge, CSUN. Sorry, my apologies. UC Davis. All four of those teams are tied at 5-5 right now, tied for fourth place in the Big West Conference. With the win by the Gauchos, that puts themselves in second place. They are tied with and second with Hawaii. UC Irvine got a big win last night over the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. Irvine's in first place in the Big West Conference. That was a big one last night against Hawaii. That game was so big, and I know it doesn't really pertain to our audience, Frank, but this is kind of funny for you, I think. So my buddy Mike, the Irvine guy, right? Mm-hmm. Big UC Irvine guy. He's in Miami right now at a bachelor party for one of our friends from high school. Okay. Guy is staying up late watching he's going out to bars. He's going through South Beach. He's having the grand old time, being Mr. Worldwide down in Miami. Okay. Mike's Cuban. He's, he pulls it off. He wears the shades. He does the, the dally thing, whatever. I think that's what he does down in Miami. So he's down there. He's getting yelled at by the bachelor party group for watching the Anteaters. He's watching the Anteaters on his phone. Grind out a ball game against Hawaii.
Bravo.
It's late at night, right? I mean, we're on the East Coast right now. He's down in Miami. And at one point, he's watching overtime. You know what's funny about that, Frank? I get the text this morning about this entire ordeal that he had. You know why that's funny? Why he was watching overtime last night?
Why?
Well, because the game didn't go into overtime, Frank. That was an overtime game last night. Our guy Mike last night was watching the game. It did go to overtime, but he was watching the game. He didn't realize that the game, he rewatched the last 5 minutes over again and thought it was the overtime period for the Irvine-Hawaii game. Irvine won 87-76 in overtime. He couldn't understand how they won by 11 points when he was grinding through the overtime game at 2 or 3 in the morning East Coast time, because he had accidentally rewound it on his phone in some type of club or whatever. And then all of a sudden he's like, we're going to double overtime. He goes to bed, wakes up. They won in regular overtime by 11 points. Guy watched the end of the second half, the final 5 minutes of the second half twice, thinking the second time he watched it was overtime. You know what? Have a weekend. Have a weekend. You know what?
Good job, buddy.
It's not a bachelor party. Let him have a weekend. Let him go have a good time. Okay?
Exactly.
You can't be upset about that. That's amazing.
Bro.
Does he qualify for Win Sock of the Week for that?
I don't know, man.
Win Sock of the Night?
That Win Sock of the Night for sure.
Win Sock of the Night. Watching your team go play the final 5 minutes over again, thinking it's overtime. That's what makes that entire thing funny. But the Anteaters are in first place. The guy woke up very fired up this morning, texting us at 5 a.m. because,
because time zones don't exist.
That's not a thing when you're at a bachelor party. Time does not exist. And he says, I'm already a couple bloodies deep, and you're not even on the air yet. I'm like, nope. That was like 3 hours ago, Frank.
Gonna have a good day today, then. All that means.
Hopefully he has a great weekend. It should be a great day out there at the Farmers Insurance Open. That was another big event that happened, and continues to go on out there at Torrey Pines. It's a beautiful scene again. It's supposed to be up in the 80s today, but what really was the case, Justin Rose, who has won this tournament before, he has won this tournament not too long ago, because I covered it one time when he won it. But he once again showed, his Torrey Pines split personality. When it's good for Justin Rose, it's really good. Now, playing the much easier North course. Rose fired a 10 under 62, taking a one-shot lead and nearly tying the tournament course record. That the gentleman that played the North course yesterday really had a lot better of a time. And the thing with Torrey Pines depends on the weather. Was it too much wind yesterday at Torrey? It was a picture-perfect day. Picture-perfect day at Torrey Pines. And today it's supposed to be in the 80s. I mean, it's going to be great weather today for the Farmers Insurance Open. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great weather this weekend for the Padres Fan Fest. We're looking forward to that as well. But you had, the North versus South course yesterday, gigantic reality check for a lot of golfers. But the thing is, here's where it doesn't evenly play out. Sometimes the wind affects Torrey Pines and the weather affects Torrey Pines, where you might get a good draw of playing the North course, and then the second day, the South course is a little bit more fair, and then guys don't plummet back down to earth. Justin Rose leads the field right now with a 10 under. He's through 2 today on the South course. But there's a lot of room for improvement for a lot of the young guys, or should I say San Diego guys, and some of the important names that played the South course yesterday. We'll talk about the splits in the next segment. But if it's windy today over there at Torrey Pines, the balancing of the axe is not going to really help out the guys that played the South course yesterday.
No, and Matsuyama must have had a great second half of his day, because I remember the last update we gave, he was at like 2 under, 1 or 2 under. He's at 8 under right now through 2 today. So that's an impressive turnaround for him. Grazerman, who was leading most of the day yesterday, tees off at 116. McNeely and Jaeger were both currently tied for 6. McNeely tees off at 138. Jaeger at 149. So still a lot of action here early as Power goes up to second with a birdie putt on 4.
Looking forward to talking a little bit more about the Farmers Insurance Open. The NFL is throwing out a rule change that I am on the fence about potentially happening. We're going to talk about how UCSD, how that game transpired last night. Oregon State, San Diego is a big game tomorrow for University of San Diego. And the 11 o'clock hour, we're going to talk baseball. 8 teams that still have a move up their sleeve. That came out a couple of days ago. We're going to break that down. Some NFL talk in the noon hour. And then some news out of college football that we'll talk about at 1 o'clock. Drake Hills will join us at 1:35 to talk a little bit of soccer. San Diego FC is in action coming up next week. We got a lot to get to as we get to break on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's number 1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. UCSD continues to look like one of the most legitimate athletic programs in San Diego, and not just for a Big West school. Big crowds, big wins, big moments, and some real questions coming out of last week as the Tritons competed against UC Irvine, which could have been an opportunity to get themselves in a first place in the Big West Conference. But fun night on Saturday night in La Jolla, unfortunately, just didn't go the way of the Tritons. It was a sellout crowd of 4,000 packed in the Lion Tree Arena as UCSD went toe-to-toe with first place UC Irvine. And even in a 61-59 loss, Triton showed why they belong in this conference title conversation. But it's the margin of error is starting to thin a little bit for UCSD, especially after losing to Irvine. Now, they do have the tiebreaker over Hawaii currently, but they still got to play Hawaii again, and they have to go to the Brent Event Center and play Irvine again. A tough place to play, but a place that the Tritons actually have had more success against Irvine than playing in their own gym.
Yeah, and especially as you get down to the later end of this season, the conference schedule, the way it's playing out, losses really magnify, but also the wins really magnify. So a big loss can just as easily turn into a big win later on down the road. Leo Beath was outstanding in that game against UC Irvine, 16 points, 10 boards, game highs in both. The game had 5 ties, 8 lead changes. UCSD hit threes early, punch first, never back down. They showed a really gritty performance as they have shown for most of this year. Unfortunately, against UC Irvine came up a little bit short.
Yeah, and this is the hard truth for the Tritons. UCSD didn't score in the final 3 minutes and 47 seconds.
It'll beat you every time.
That's where experience and execution matter. And where this team still has a growing edge of, they're young, they're, inexperienced. A lot of the experienced guys ended up transferring out, followed Eric Olin to New Mexico, or found other homes in the transfer portal. Against the best defense of the Big West, every possession late felt like a playoff possession, and Irvine made a couple more plays than UCSD. Now, they're still 15-6 overall. They're 5-4 in league play, right in the mix, second best home attendance in the Big West, and the program is definitely building something special. The people are showing up here in San Diego to go watch UCSD, and the third now D1 program in San Diego.
Yeah, and especially was this their second year in Division One? They've made the national championship tournament last year.
Second year eligible for the tournament in Division One.
Yes, correct. That's what I meant to say. So yeah, they've got the groundwork. They've got the basement floor done. They're starting to build up now on this incredibly stable foundation in a couple of years when they move to the West Coast Conference, fighting it out with the Toreros in the same conference. It's going to make it a lot of fun here in San Diego, not just to watch San Diego State play, but also to see UCSD and the Toreros battle it out.
Huge bounce back opportunity on Thursday night for UCSD. They got the Gauchos of UC Santa Barbara. It's Spirit night for the Tritons. Gauchos are red hot. They've won 4 straight and 1 game ahead of the Tritons in the standings. UCSD has won 6 of the 11 Big West meetings against UC Santa Barbara, and the Tritons swept them last year in 2025, including the Big West semifinals. But this is very much a swing game for the Tritons. If you win it, UCSD right back in the mix of in the top tier of the conference. If they lose, now they're really firing behind the 8 ball right now in the Big West Conference. Now, for women's basketball, they made a statement. They went up to the Brett Event Center and they beat UC Irvine. In fact, they handed UC Irvine its first conference loss. Snapped a 16-game win streak for the Anteaters as they won 68-66 in a grinder, which you heard right here on 97.3 The Fan. One of the games that we have aired in our partnership with UCSD. But overall, 68-66 grinder of a win. Rosa Smith, 20 points, clutch threes, clutch free throws. Erin Condren, 19 points, 7 boards, 2 blocks. Triton scored 24 points off turnovers, and they're now 8-1 in the Big West and now tied for first, which they now have the tiebreaker after they snapped an Irvine run to start Big West play. And that's definitely the big stat there out of those numbers that you read. The Triton scoring 24 points off of turnovers. They were able to make UC Irvine pay for their mistakes on the scoreboard. And the defense, incredible, forcing mistakes and all playing in close games. They're not flashy. They are tough, though, and that is something that they are going to need as you get down the run in conference play. This is a school that used to fly under the radar, and that era, I think, is starting to end fast. They're going to join the West Coast Conference in 2027, a program and a school that's leveling up in athletics. And it's going to ask the question that we might answer next week. Is UCSD becoming San Diego's most underrated sports brand? $10:18 on a Friday. It's a foul out Friday. Just ask Nate. Although we're off to a pretty good start so far. I haven't had to issue any fouls yet. Foul on Mike for the thinking he watched overtime when he really just watched the end of the second half twice. That's kind of a foul. What does Sam in the chat think?
I was debating on whether or not to give it to him.
That's a foul out Friday. We're handing out, we're not letting the kids play today. We're not letting them play today. Officiating a tight game, which leads into the conversation of the NFL and how they want to potentially, and we're going to get to this later on in the show, but according to Jonathan Jones on Twitter, new at NFL and CBS, for the first time ever, the NFL could begin throwing flags on plays after replay review. It would be player safety fouls like face mask or rough of the passer. Discussions will take place next month on what would be a massive change. Okay. I'm kind of hit and miss on this. There are times where I'm like, that should be reviewable. And then there are times like, all right, we're going to get some ticky-tack stuff. Roughing the passer is subjective. It's super subjective. I don't like that being reviewable. But like a face mask, you either grab the guy's face mask or you don't grab the guy's face mask. It's pretty cut and dry. And the amount of face masks that are being missed right now in the NFL and college football, that's definitely something that needs to be fixed. I go back to the Ole Miss Georgia game. They missed the face mask completely against Georgia. That should have been something like, all right, let's go to replay assist here. Yeah, he grabbed the face mask. He almost tore the guy's head off. I just think it opens up a weird door with officiating when it comes to this. But anyway, we'll talk about that later on. Let's get to the conversation of the Farmers Insurance Open today. Again, we don't talk a lot of golf on this show. Sometimes we do if it's very prominent. Like, I'm sure we'll give Masters updates. WM is always fun to really give updates on as well. But they're here. And the PGA Tour is here in San Diego. Justin Rose had a great day yesterday. He birdied all 4 par threes, a first in his 1,506 round career. He missed a 4-foot birdie in his final hole that would have tied the course record at 61. He shot a 62 yesterday on the North Course. Called Torrey Pines one of his favorite venues on the tour. Hey, that's a thumbs up, Frank, for trying to keep this thing on the tour.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he admitted the round wasn't perfect golf, but praised his process and course management. Now, take a look at the North versus South course reality check. As usual at Torrey Pines, whether it be the Farmers Insurance Open or the U.S. Open, whatever it may be, the leaderboard tells 2 completely different stories depending on the course. 21 of the 23 best scores yesterday came from which course?
One would assume the North End.
That would be the North course.
There you go.
The North played more than 3 strokes easier than the South. Best South course records. Seamus Power had 65. Max McGreevy shot a 66 yesterday. Meanwhile, many big names struggled badly on the South. Harris English, who was the defending champ, shot a 73. Brooks Koepka, who just came back from the Live Tour, shot a 73. Xander Schauffele, Aztec for life, Scripps Ranch Falcon, shot a 73. San Diego State Aztec alum Justin Hastings shot a 73. J.J. Spahn, also an Aztec alum, shot a 75. Sets up a classic farmer's question. How much should we really value these North course low numbers? I mean, they got the benefit of the North, and they have now jumped into a lead. But the reality is now everybody that played the South course yesterday needs to try to climb back into the conversation on the North course today. And I think there's some added pressure to that.
So say, do we begin the conspiracy that the PGA knew the South course was going to play tougher, so they put Brooks Koepka on the back foot by having him play on the South course?
No, because they usually put the big dogs on the South course. They always put like the big dudes on the South course. I would rather, I don't think you have a choice. But if you had a choice, I would imagine you want to play the North course first to build a lead, because then you could confidently play the South course.
You're not playing from underneath.
But like all of these guys that are playing the North today have a lot of catch up to do. And you look at the leaderboard and you're looking at your 73 and you saw that Justin Rose shot a 62. I don't care how good of a golfer you are or how easy that course is. That's the mental side of the game that really affects how you play throughout the course. I mean, Xander Schauffele, J.J. Spahn, Brooks Koepka, this is a monumental climb back. It's not impossible because they get to play the North today, but it's not that great of a climb back. Meanwhile, Justin Rose has birdied one of his first holes today. He is on the 4th fairway right now on the South course, and he's 11 under. He's won this tournament before, and he's off to a great start. He hit that one a little bit towards the ocean, and it's on the green, and now it's going to roll into the rough that is the abyss, but it's just going to be just off the first fringe on the green on 4 on the South course. He's playing with house money right now. He's playing calm. It is way easier to hit when you are calm and you have nothing and you have no pressure. It's way easier to move the ball down the field as an offense in football when there's less pressure. It's easy to play defense in the NFL when you don't have any pressure. And it's easy to hit in baseball when you have no pressure. That's why some of these scores where you jump out to an early lead, it just rolls out of control. So he's got a very big lead right now, Justin Rose does, on the South course. He's only on the 4th hole. He's playing, again, the South with a 2-stroke lead on Power and Lauer. That kind of works out. And then a 3-stroke lead on Matsuyama and Gracerman, and they're both through 3 right now, including Rose.
Matsuyama's had a really good day. I think he birdied the first 2 on the South course, bringing him up to 8 under on the day. He had one lip out on the 3rd. Otherwise, he'd have birdied all 3 he's played so far today.
Justin Lower's perspective puts golf in context, and from the article from the San Diego Union Tribune today, he briefly held a low round of the day before Rose passed him, but his post-round comments became one of the most human moments of the tournament. Lower revealed his wife is 34 weeks pregnant with twins, and his focus is simply getting home safely on Monday. Despite that, he posted one of the best rounds of the day. I mean, think about that. That guy's thinking about his wife, who is 34 weeks pregnant with twins, as he's out there competing, and he's in second place right now, and he's 2 strokes behind Rose through 4, also playing the South course today. How about Tony Finau? Did you see Tony Finau's day yesterday, Frank?
I did not, no.
Tony Finau summed up the brutality of the South course perfectly.
Ruh-roh.
He shot an even par 72, needed a hole-in-one on the par 3 16th just to do it. That's the Torrey Pines South for you in one sentence. Tony Finau shot even par. He had a hole-in-one yesterday on the South course. Torrey Pines giveth, Torrey Pines taketh away. All the players have switched courses now today. Top 65 and ties make the cut. First 2 rounds played entirely on the South course, where this tournament is usually decided, or final 2 rounds, sorry. Final 2 rounds are going to play completely on the South course. Early leads definitely matter, but history says South course survival is definitely the real separator, which leads to the question, how legit is Justin Rose's lead really? You know what? I think his lead is nice, but I don't think it's comfortable. Not with the fact that he's got to play the South today. The only thing that plays a factor into this round for Justin Rose is how bad is the weather today that affects the guys on the North. The South course is brutal. Especially that, the back 9 of that South course, just absolutely brutal. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Aztecs are in action tomorrow. We're going to take a quick preview of what is at stake for San Diego State as they go to Utah State. When we come back, there's a lot to break down. And how can San Diego State be able to go to Logan, Utah, win in a tough environment, and do it without Magoon Gua? They might have to do it without LZ Harrington. We'll tell you about it when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. San Diego State, new Pac-12. This is the new focus of this particular segment that we're going to do. We're going to get you update on college sports. A lot of stories that we love talking about in college sports that we probably don't have time to talk about during the baseball season, so you get it during the YouTube breaks, if you will. While Indiana and Miami were playing for a national championship, the update was for San Diego State football. They're already turning the page. An hour before kickoff, the Aztecs officially began, quote, the climb toward the 2026 season, and that timing says a lot about where this program thinks it's headed. Sean Lewis wasting no time setting the tone. This isn't a soft reset. This is a hard standards reset. Nearly half the roster has turned over after a 9-4 season. 24 players have graduated. 24 more hit the transfer portal. San Diego State responded by aggressively rebuilding portal additions, early enrollees, and a wave of new faces on campus immediately. And Lewis made one thing clear on day one: winning last year doesn't buy you anything this year. A late player was literally left outside the meeting. Punctuality, accountability standards. On time is late, early is on time. That's not coach speak. That's program culture being enforced in real time. San Diego State is clearly positioning itself not just as a good Mountain West program anymore, but now as a Pac-12 program with expectations. And those goals are not small. Sean Lewis says, got to win the Pac-12, own the oil can, the rivalry with the school up north, compete for a national championship, team GPA over 3.0. And yes, they are already talking national relevance, not just bowl games. Spring practice starts March 23rd. Spring game is May 2nd, and they're actually tackling. That's notable. This is the new era of Aztecs football, and something that really needs to take shape in the next couple of years before the next contractual agreement with TV markets to get themselves into a bigger conference.
Yeah, San Diego State definitely believes that going into the Power Act-12, that they are going into a power conference, because this is big program stuff here that we're talking about. Just setting the goal of winning the conference, competing for a national championship. That is huge. And then also Sean Lewis taking the time to make sure the players have a 3.0 team GPA as well. So he's not only trying to set their goals high for a football future, he's also trying to set their goals high for a life after football future as well, which is so many great things we're hearing out of San Diego State coming through this big culture shift here.
The new Pac-12 clock is ticking, and this is an era now where they don't have a flagship program. They don't have that flag bearer of the conference. It is a brand new conference. Yes, Washington State and Oregon State are the remnants of an old conference, but the Aztecs have a great opportunity to be the number one team in this conference and to build themselves out of this conference. That should be the goal for San Diego State, and it starts with football. We know what basketball can do. We know about how they're going to have to compete with Gonzaga in the new conference for basketball next season, but this is about football. Now let's talk about the Power Act 12, if you will. That exists on paper, but not yet in structure. As of this week, no football schedule, no championship game site, no tiebreakers, no bowl lineup. That should change this week as presidents and ADs meet with the commissioner, Teresa Gould. But there's a lot of key football decisions moving. 7 or 8 game conference schedule, championship game host or neutral site. How does the Pac-12 position itself for the 12-team college football playoff? And remember, the college football playoff stay with 12 teams with an automatic bid for the highest ranked group of 6 team now. Not really champion. That matters a lot for this league, and it's up for grabs for San Diego State.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of this is coming. We're seeing the Big Ten just released their conference schedule. The ACC just released their conference schedule. Big news around the ACC conference schedule as well, moving to noon on Saturday. So there's a lot going on right now, and the Pac-12 feels like the Pac-12 is being left behind a little bit in this, but they're built a completely new conference. They're going to get this stuff out. It's important stuff that needs to be ironed out very, very soon. And San Diego State, as you mentioned before, has the opportunity here to set themselves apart from everybody else that's coming into this new Power Act 12.
San Diego State is walking into the Pac-12 at the exact moment the league is rebuilding its identity. That's opportunity, but it's also pressure. Sean Lewis has said the right things. The culture is being enforced. The roster is being flipped. But now comes the real question. Can San Diego State lead this conference, or will it just be another member? That is a question that we will answer at some point in time, and a question that we could probably answer on our show. But that is our update on the college football world here on the Braden Surprenant Show. We're broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. We're excited to be out there with you guys in the community tomorrow at Fan Fest. And we got a couple other things coming up on the books that we can't announce yet, but hopefully some more opportunities to see you guys out in the community. We really love doing that. It was great being out there with you guys at the blood drive You guys did a great job showing up and supporting the blood drive. Did a great job showing up and donating blood because we raised 500 pints on Tuesday, which is great because the goal is 400. So over 500 was the final total, and they were shooting for 400. So that was great, and a big round of applause to all you guys for doing that earlier this week. But we're looking forward to being out there with you tomorrow at FanFest. I don't know. I might get down there a little early. Just to check out the garage sale. I've never been to the garage sale, but I've heard it's kind of fun. And what a great idea by the Padres on the garage sale. That's usually one of the big things that they have at FanFest, to be able to see, or to be able to buy a lot of things like player used items, signed stuff. I mean, it's a pretty cool deal. And all of the proceeds go to, I'm pretty sure, one of their charities as well. So we're going to be out there. It's going to be a fun time, and a lot of the players are going to be out there as well. Our show is going to have a couple of guests scheduled tomorrow. We are going to have Mason Miller on our show tomorrow. He is scheduled to come on. And we're also going to have Joe Musgrove on. He is also scheduled to come on with us tomorrow. So we're looking forward to that. These guys get pulled in a lot of different directions. They're doing a lot of stuff tomorrow. I know they're doing autograph sessions that people have signed up to do. I think this year they had signups for it. Most of those have been sold out, if I am not mistaken. They do some question and answer stuff. But FanFest is always a fun time, Frank, and always a good time to really feel that kickoff to the season, even though we still have a couple weeks until pitchers and catchers report.
Yeah, I've been to a couple of FanFest. I haven't been to any out here, but they're always very, very fun, very exciting. Get to see these players up close, get to talk to some of them. If you're early enough, or if you're fortunate enough, you find them in a quiet spot, you get to talk to these guys a little bit, interact with them. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow. Can't wait to get out there with you guys, and can't wait to see some of these players again.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. See how they are progressing, how they're doing, how ready they're going to be for the season. And I think this is a Padres team that I love what they do with the Camp 44 stuff. You know what that's about, Frank?
No, I do not.
Yeah, Joe Musgrove basically has these guys out, and they do workouts together, and they do a lot of team bonding and stuff. And I love that. I think that's great. I think it's fun to see those guys go out there and compete in different workouts and do different things. They did a beach workout the other day at Mission Beach, which was super cool. And it's slowly grown. Like before, I think it was just the pitchers. We'll ask Joe about it. But I love that kind of team camaraderie that they have going into the season. And you just never know in the sport of baseball. I'm going to sit here and talk about what baseball needs to do in order to make their sport, I think, more entertaining, because I want it to be the best sport it possibly can, as somebody that enjoys watching baseball. So that's why we have these conversations about the salary cap and the salary floor and everything like that. But the reality is, in this sport, anything can happen. And so you have a little bit of hope going into the season with the way the Padres are at and what they have what they have in terms of a roster. And I don't think they're done yet when it comes to putting a roster out there. They made a deal yesterday. Marco Gonzalez is now a Padre. We briefly talked about that yesterday, Frank. But as I look at the Marco Gonzalez sign, I don't want to make a big deal about it, but I mean, this is another one of those marginal moves that helps with the pitching depth if Marco Gonzalez can put together, a decent spring training. And if he makes the team, it's not like you owe him a lot of money. $1.5 million to me is worth the risk to get an extra arm when you need as many arms as possible.
It's effectively Kyle Hart from last year. I mean, he came in with a very similar deal. He had an invite to spring training, became the fifth starter, and it unfortunately didn't last all that long up here until the end of the season when he came back more in a relief role. But still, I mean, this is the kind of move that you're going to see be made here at this stage of the offseason. You're getting close. You're less than 2 weeks away now from pitchers and catchers reporting. As a matter of fact, we are 11 days, 2 hours, 30 minutes, and 25, 4, 3, 2 seconds away from pitchers and catchers reporting. So these are the moves you're going to see right now to shore up some depth, Some of these guys might make the team. Some of these guys might leave if they don't make the team. Not quite sure as to how that's all going to play out. We need to see the spring training games for that. But other than that, I mean, these are the kind of moves that you're going to see right now.
Yeah, and you bring in sometimes you bring in a lot of guys just to have competition. Just to breed in competition, which is exactly what you want to see. When it comes to spring training and camp and all that stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. I think tomorrow's going to be fun. Should be a good time. But we do got to talk a little bit about Aztec basketball. And San Diego State has a pretty tough test tomorrow against Utah State. Utah State is a pretty good basketball team coming in, and they're really good at home, and they're a team that had been picked to be one of the teams to win the Mountain West Conference. I mean, this is the team that you're competing with for the number 1 seed in the Mountain West Conference tournament. This is the team that you're competing with for the championship outright. This is a team that you want to try to split with as much as possible. And if you could steal a win on the road, that's huge for San Diego State. And they're going to have to do it without Magoo and Guath, which means you're going to see a lot of Miles Bird and hopefully Reese Dixon Waters come out there and help carry this team to a win on Saturday in Logan.
Yeah, and we talked about it a lot over the course of the week where Miles Bird needs to be that guy who's going to step up in these big game moments, and they don't get much bigger than right here and right now in Utah State. But the fact that we saw Reese Dixon Waters, I believe, team high in points against Colorado State. You also had Compton have a huge second half in that game. A big cause for relief going into this game. You've seen them do it now. It's time to carry that momentum into a great game.
Yeah, San Diego State leads the overall series 20-12 against Utah State. A lot of that coming back from the probably the old WAC days, being in the same conference. And the thing is Utah State's been pretty good in the last couple of years of the Mountain West Conference. And this is a team. This is not like the farewell tour that you've seen with San Diego State with a lot of teams that they're playing in Mountain West competition. This is a team that you're going to have to compete against in the Pac-12 over and over and over again. And what is going to be a situation, we talked about it a little bit when it comes to, the commercial breaks we're playing with some of the college football stuff. But this is a game that in the future is going to help determine who might be the flag bearer of this conference. I mean, you look at what the Pac-12 is going to be. Now, here's the thing about the Pac, and I didn't want to make a segment on it today because I haven't seen too many articles on it, but we have seen some reports coming out of these meetings. Now, the Pac-12, the new Pac-12 has had meetings this week. They got to determine a lot of different things. And we talk about it we have a video for it on YouTube. If you want to dive into that, you can go to our YouTube page at @B_SURP. You could search the Braden Surprenant Show. It will pop up. You will see, this particular 5-minute clip that we have.
I think we just played it, actually.
And we just played it, I think, for the people on YouTube. But the reality is the Pac-12 is just kind of a league on paper right now. And their first major sport that they have to hash out is football. They don't have a schedule. They don't have bowl tie-ins. They don't have a championship game site. They don't have a championship game date. They don't know how they're going to do their schedule, whether it be 7 or 8 games, if they're going to do that, little flair of a tournament to finish the year or not. All they know is they got 8 teams in this conference. They got a TV deal, but here's the other reports we're getting, Frank, and I'm not surprised. You saw the report on social media. The Utah State was talking about the fact that, well, the media rights deal's a little bit leaner than we were hoping for. Oh, wow. I'm shocked by that. I didn't know that was going to be the case. It's still probably going to be better than the Mountain West, but it's not going to be that much better than the Mountain West. I mean, every time that I hear from people that were super fired up about joining the Pac-12 and how it's going to be a conference that is a power conference, I said, wait, I'm going to wait until you tell me what the TV contract is. If the TV contract is north of $15 million, I think you might work with something. But if your TV contract's just slightly better than the American Conference or in line with the American Conference, I'm sorry. It's not a power conference. It's just not. The only thing that makes power conferences is the money they get back from TV. That's it. It's not because their logo was like very important. If the Big Ten didn't get the contract that they got, it wouldn't be a power conference. It's not because they're better than everybody else. It's because they can make more money than everybody else. It's because they get higher TV ratings than everybody else. It's the only reason why it's a power conference. So you could sit there and you could tell me like, oh, well, we're going to be so great in basketball. We're going to be so great in football. Like, look how great this conference is. I'm sorry. Are you talking about the two teams that are currently in the Pac-12 that went about one of them went 500 and the other one lost to Sam Houston State at home? Is that the teams you're talking about? You got a school in San Marcos, Texas. I mean, that's what you're talking about. And you wonder why they're not getting power level money. And then they always want to chirp back at like the Big 12. Always like to chirp at like, well, you got all these. Yeah, but they're making $50 million a year per school in TV revenue and NCAA tournament payouts. That is slightly different than like under $10 million a year. This is not a conference that is long-term success. This is not a long-term success conference. This is if we're San Diego State, this is a life raft to stay alive, to put ourselves in position to then jump to a actual power conference. Because conference realignment is coming again in 2030, guys. And San Diego State can't be the one holding the bag when everybody leaves. They can't. They have to position themselves into a spot that's better than Washington State and Oregon State. And so when all these conferences start realigning and they need people in it and schools in it, they overlook Washington State and Oregon State and go, you know what? San Diego State's a little bit better than these two teams. Let's pluck them. It's the whole. This is a conference of survival, not a conference to thrive in. And I don't think I'm saying anything that's that crazy, Frank. I really don't.
No, not at all. I mean, it's definitely one thing if you get some of the big names back, like in a world where Oregon or Washington or USC or UCLA come back to the Pac-12 after conference realignment. That's one thing. Then you genuinely are in a power conference. Doubt they will, but that is where you will be. You'll set yourself up in a power conference that way. But I mean, from all the links that we've heard about San Diego State and being in the Big 12, that would be a very prestigious get from the basketball side of things. Now, football might need to catch up a little bit, but with everything that we've heard so far from San Diego State and from what Sean Lewis is trying to implement already going into this offseason, I don't think they'd be too far behind if they do decide to go to the big, if they do get an invite to the Big 12 coming up in the next realignment.
They should. But here's the deal. Like, is how many schools are going to be left in the Big 12? Are they just going to be constantly chasing at that point in time?
Yeah, true.
Because these schools are going to start breaking out of these other conferences, and it's going to be interesting to see unless they solidify what's going on in conference realignment. I mean, even for a school like my school, like they're in danger of getting left behind again. They've already been left behind multiple times. Are the best teams in the Big 12 going to split and go to the SEC and the Big 10, just like the best teams in the ACC? I mean, that's definitely a fear for a lot of the other schools in there. But the reality is everything comes out of two schools because they have the biggest fan bases. And here's the deal. I try to explain this to people all the time. We're people that work in media and understand how TV contracts work. Guess who doesn't care about TV markets anymore? All of these networks. Why? Because there's something called streaming now. You don't need the market anymore. They're interested in streaming numbers, which means they're interested in how big your fan base is. I've been trying to explain that to my friends. So that's archaic thinking. They don't think about it like that anymore. It's not about the TV market anymore. It's about the streaming numbers and how many people you have to help with streaming. All of these new TV deals are like they keep trying to push the streaming. That's where they think the money's at. That's where they're going to go to. They're not going to go to just like old markets. That was the last situation. It's not about market size anymore. They're worried about streaming numbers. They're worried about subscriptions. They're worried about people signing up for stuff because they know the way ratings work and like markets, people are cutting the cord. Why would you care about what the market size is? Does that make sense? I mean, if I'm a TV company, right, and all of our stuff is pushing towards streaming, do I want a TV market where I got a bunch of people that aren't going to tune into broadcast television because they've cut the cord? Or do I want a fan base that has a lot of people that are not going to subscribe to my platform in order to watch? Which one is it, Frank?
I mean, you're right in the fact that it's all going to streaming. That's why ESPN's done their thing, and it really does not matter. It is about your fan size and your reach just outside of your general area.
The reason why, like, it just came up with NBC. Like, NBC's in the whole $500 and something billion in losses for the first quarter because they spent all the money on the NBA contract. Now, the thing is the first quarter, almost everybody's in debt because that's when your broadcast rights are due. Okay? So, like, the NBA's, NBC's contract with the NBA just kicked in. So, of course, they're going to be in a massive deficit. As much as I'm not a big NBA fan, I don't think it's a fun league to watch that much in comparison to other leagues. But even then, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. They didn't lose $530 billion because everybody dropped them. They're in debt right now because they had to make their first payment to the NBA. But here's the deal. They picked up 3 million subscribers since they added the NBA to Peacock. Why did they give the NBA a big contract for media? To get the 3 million subscribers added to their platform, right? Like, you're looking for subscribers now. You're not looking for market. So they're 535 million, my mistake. 535 million in debt, which again is from the negotiation contracts. That's when their legal fees were paid, or their broadcast rights fees were paid. They picked up 3 million subscribers since they added the NBA. Like, that's what it's for now. It's not about market. It's about how many subscribers can we get if we add XYZ. So if you are a TV company, you're NBC and you have Peacock, you're CBS and you have Paramount, you're ESPN and you have, the all-new ESPN app, whatever. You are trying to bring in as many subscribers as possible, and you're making deals with leagues that you think have big fan bases that are going to subscribe to your product in order to watch their favorite team. Because now, with everybody cutting the cord, it's not about market size anymore. And this is what I've tried to explain multiple times. So, like, for San Diego State, you got to show that you have people that watch your team. You got to show that you have people that are interested in watching Aztec football and Aztec basketball, and they got to be somewhat good. I would say now it's actually more about how good you are in your sports than it is about market size based on subscription fees. It's a very interesting conversation that I think is leading to what is going to be a massive realignment again in college athletics. And the thing is they're just going to have all the big schools in two conferences, most likely. But you look at where, like, my school is, we have 10,000 kids at our school. Living alumni is like 50,000. Like, it's not whatever. They get a decent draw. They actually do pretty well when it comes to TV ratings because, they're a little bit of a cult following. I'm sure Landman will help them out a little bit, but the reality is it's going to be tough selling for them, and they got tons of money that they could just throw into a conference. But this is why you wanted to be in these conferences before they start cutting people out. I just don't know how many are actually going to make the jump a second time to the Big Ten of the SEC if they continue to leave the playing field level when it comes to the playoff. This is why you got to fight for everybody's in the playoff, because they're just going to make a league of like 32 teams, and then everybody else is going to play their own version of college athletics. We got a lot to talk about in baseball. We're going to do it in the next hour, the baseball hour, as we do in the offseason. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. It's the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. All guests on 97 to the Fan, join us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with the crime. Since 2010, visit davidpshapirolaw.com. We are broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. Talk a little college athletics for you at the end of the last hour. All of our shows are archived on YouTube. They are also wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever it may be. Give us a follow, a like, a subscription, whatever it may be, wherever you get your podcasts or audio needs. You can listen to us throughout the day. If you missed any part of today's show, you can also go back on YouTube as well. A new member again. Big thanks to Bubba for joining the membership over the Braden Surprenant Show page. We're doing a lot of different things over there. We're going to continue to add new updates for you over there as well that you can check out for your favorite local team here in San Diego. We really appreciate you guys joining us. Again, if you haven't done so already, you can subscribe to the Braden Surprenant Show YouTube page for free. You can subscribe to the YouTube page for free. You can also be a member. We're going to do some member-only broadcasts just like Ben and Woods. So if you want to be a diehard natural casing or frog and dog or whatever it may be, chat fam, we have that available for you on YouTube. We're going to continue to pump out a tons of content over on our YouTube page at B_SURP. You can also check out all of our stuff on the 97 Through the Fan page. We got content on there as well. Follow us on social media if you haven't done so already. All of our links to find all of the things that I've just said, if you're watching on YouTube, are in the description below.
See, so what has happened here is Bubba, a.k.a. the Bull.
Renee.
Yeah, Renee has hijacked her grandson's YouTube account and is spending money on her grandson's YouTube account.
Good for her.
Does your mother know? Does your mother know that you stole the credit card? And are buying things online?
Oh, my God. She gave me a bunch of Sportsplex tokens that I've been using. She had a bunch of extra, so I have them. So when you come out to the Sportsplex, Frank,
got it.
First soda's on me. Even though it's going to cost you $3.25 to get in anyway if you use a credit card, and then they'll give you a token. So I guess it would be on you, but it's the thought that counts.
Okay, it's Renee's money. We've gotten that sorted out.
You know what? Wouldn't it be awesome, though, if you I think it's a great lesson to teach a kid there about downloading apps and doing stuff.
Secure your passwords, kids.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I'm sorry. Are you spending hundreds of dollars on my Apple account to download games? Payback's a bitch, son.
Round of memberships for everyone.
That's right. Buy them all.
Gift subs on the way.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Kid's trying to improve his clan in Clash of Clans. Has no funds because we spent that on other things. I think that's great.
I'm sorry. I'm a Natural Casings member.
That's right.
That's your problem now.
I'm a Natural Casings member now. That's amazing. Anyway, let's talk some baseball here. We wanted to talk about a couple of moves, or should I say, Mark Feinstein the other day had a piece, 8 teams that could still have some big moves up their sleeves. The Padres are not one of them, which is surprising to me because we kept talking about all the big moves that the Padres could potentially be making around the winter meetings, who they were talking to, all that stuff. I still think there's a move in the Padres' future before the start of the season, whether it's right before spring training or it happens right before the start of the year. I think they got something up their sleeve, something they're working on. But as of right now, it's been pretty quiet on the Western Front. But that doesn't mean there's not a lot of teams that are actively trying to make a move here and there. Things have slowed down a little bit on the hot stove. That's why we've had to flip this hot stove segment into a cold stove other conversation.
So please, Lord, give us something baseball to talk about segment.
Marco Gonzalez. Anyway, so you got 8 teams that might be making some moves, according to Mark Feinstein, leading into spring training. What do we got, Frank?
I think putting the Padres on here would have been redundant because we were always expecting them to do something big. First move here is the Oakland Athletics
the A's have already have had a relatively quiet offseason, trading for infielder outfielder Jeff McNeil and signing righty reliever Mark Leiter Jr., but the rotation lacks experience behind Luis Severino and Jeffrey Springs, creating a glaring need for at least one more starting pitcher. It's unlikely that the A's will sign any of the top pitchers on the market, but veterans such as Jose Quintana, Zach Littell, and Jordan Montgomery could possibly make some sense for them.
The A's are interesting to me. Are they trying to win again? Go back to that sheet. They're actually spending more percentage of their revenue than the Red Sox are. Why are people mad at the A's? They should be mad at the Red Sox, Frank.
Because when the pay stays the same, but the revenue goes down because you're playing in a minor league ballpark, you're going to have a higher percentage of payroll to revenue. That's how that works.
That's how that works. I didn't know you were the PR guy for the Red Sox too.
No, I'm just saying, like that's how money works. If you take away from one and not the other, the percentage
So they lost
changes.
money in revenue, but they kept the same payroll, so therefore it looks like they're spending more of their
Exactly.
money. Oh, that's their evil. The evil that is the Oaklamento A's.
You can't yell at us for not spending money. We don't make
it as much anymore.
We don't make money.
We don't make money anymore. That's interesting.
Bet you didn't think of that 4D chess play.
Yeah, I feel like, so based on what you said about the A's and having a relatively quiet offseason, I could see them potentially making a move here and there because I think the A's are, as they get closer going to Vegas, their roster is going to constantly get slightly better.
Yes.
And it might be right now. I still think now is a little bit too early. I think you're really going to see them make a lot of moves closer to them moving to Vegas. But we've seen this playbook time and time again. New stadium. Look at how great our team is. Look how bitchin' our team is now.
Juan wins chat of the day.
I pay Dynaco. I buy Dynaco.
Yeah, Braden
Mr. Wonderful funds.
Yes.
Are reported to have been raised by Renee's grandson's YouTube account. Hey, you know what? Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
All right, off to the next one. It'll be the Atlanta Bravos. The Braves have had a busy offseason, signing reliever Robert Suarez, outfielder Mike Yastrzemski, and shortstops Ha-Seong Kim, who will miss several months following a hand surgery, and Jorge Mateo. Atlanta also re-signed closer Raisel Iglesias and reliever Tyler Kinley and Joel Payamps, while trading for utility man Mauricio Dubon, Kim's replacement. But the Braves remain in the market for a starting pitcher, with options including Framber Valdez and Zach Gallen if either is willing to take a shorter-term deal. Chris Bassett could also be a target. So the Braves are looking more at the higher end of the starting pitching market.
Braves need more pitch. Everybody needs more pitching. I thought the Braves rotation is not bad. I mean, it's a little injury prone, but it's not bad. Chris Bassett was one of the names that the Padres could potentially go out there and try to pick up as well.
Zach Gallen has had conversations out here with the Padres this winter.
Apparently.
Just saying.
According to John Heyman. It would be nice to have a guy like Zach Gallen. I mean, I think the Padres are going to get one of these guys. If I had to pick one that I don't like, Chris Bassett, isn't he like 37 years old?
Yeah, he's the elder statesman of the group.
That's him, Verlander, and Scherzer. No, thank you, unless I get him halfway through the year. That's where I view that. But for like the Braves, I think the Braves could pick up like one of these guys. Chris Bassett, not a big pickup for Atlanta. I think Atlanta's still got a couple things up their sleeve. They have a little bit more money, room to spend, I think, as well. And they've had two not so great years in a row and have had injuries affect them. It's probably time to stockpile on some depth if I'm Atlanta.
See if you can spot the trend developing with the next one here. The Brewers made their anticipated trade of Freddie Peralta, which again we all knew was going to happen if Corbin Burns took the not Corbin Burns.
Brandon Woodruff.
Brandon Woodruff took the qualifying offer, sending the ace along with Tobias Myers to the Mets for Jet Williams and Brandon Sproat, the latter of whom is expected to compete for a spot in the starting rotation. But with very little experience behind Brandon Woodruff, just look further in the read, in that rotation, Milwaukee could look to add a veteran arm before the season. A reunion with Jose Quintana is always a possibility, although there are a number of free agents who could fit the bill.
What are the Brewers doing? Are they?
The Brewers are doing what the Brewers do.
They're saying they're not rebuilding, but I don't. The Brewers every year are a team that I sit there and go, there's no way they're going to be good because they were solid last year and then they got worse during the offseason. And then it's like, hey, look, they're good again. I know they got the number one farm system in baseball, according to Keith Law and according to Kylie McDaniel. So they're obviously doing something right. They're not spending a lot of money. They're loading up with like younger arms. So why keep Freddie Peralta, who you're going to have to pay a lot of money to keep him? You might as well get something for him. They shipped him off. It's thin right now, starting pitching. Go get a guy like Jose Quintana to fill out the rotation, fill with some young guys. It's not a bad plan for success for Milwaukee. It's just the unfortunate thing is, from a fan's perspective, you're like the Rays. You just have a new team all the time. Mm-hmm. And then when those young guys, when you sign them to, you take the risk by signing the guys like Jackson Chourio to an extension before he becomes a popular and good player. The risk is he doesn't turn into that player. Now you're costing you money. Or the risk is when he's done, he's super good. And now you're not going to extend him again. Yep. There's only so many of the Jose Ramirez's out there that want to redo a contract so they stay with the same team for their entire career. That's the risk you take. You buy these guys out of arbitration. You keep them when they're young, and then you let them go like Atlanta does, and then they end up on the Dodgers. That's kind of like how this kind of plays out. Do we have time for one more?
We've hit the end of the bed, so if you want, we could just kill it now, or we can go and finish this up in the next segment.
We'll finish this up in the next segment. Okay. We got a National League West team that's on this list that could be making a move. That's not the Padres. Are they a threat to the Padres? We'll discuss next on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. San Diego FC is officially back in the spotlight. It's not easing into 2026 either. It's jumping straight into international competition. Big roster news, big expectations, and a massive test coming up at Snapdragon Stadium next week. Roster move. Patty McNair departure. San Diego FC has transferred defender Patty McNair to the EFL Championship side, Hull City, on a permanent deal while retaining a future sell-on percentage. McNair was part of San Diego FC's original backbone, joining before the inaugural season and starting in the club's first ever MLS match, the 2-0 win over the LA Galaxy. In total, he made 25 appearances, 21 starts, 1 assist, does have some playoff experience, but this isn't just a player leaving, it's a signal. San Diego FC is officially operating like that global club that you would want them to operate as. They signed McNair, they showcased him in the MLS, and they moved him back to Europe while protecting long-term value. That's pretty smart roster management, not a step backward for San Diego FC.
Oh, absolutely. And for those of you who maybe don't know how transfers or deals in international soccer work, so basically what they did was San Diego FC, when they sold him to Hull City, allowed themselves, they put in a sell-on clause. So basically, if they sell Patty McNair for, say, $2 million, they get a percentage of the sale that they sell Patty McNair for in the future. So again, another very smart move by San Diego FC on the business side. On the defensive play side, you signed Luca Bombino to an extension. There are certainly players that will fill in for Patty McNair.
Let's talk about what it means now on the field. It's a very young defensive unit for San Diego FC. With McNair gone, the youth movement is no longer a theory. That's kind of the plan now for San Diego FC. Bold, considering what's coming next. They got Liga MX competition, experienced attackers, and elite international talent. Question becomes, do you trust youth and chemistry with this defense for San Diego FC?
We saw how good it can be in the latter stage of the season, and the unbelievable goal line stop that Ian Pilcher made before the games against the Whitecaps. That was absolutely huge, and that youthful exuberance can really help you. However, we saw against Vancouver that youthful inexperience can definitely hurt you. So a year under their belts already. Now they're getting time to play as normal everyday starters. This could be a big growth and development year for that San Diego FC backline.
And they're back in action on February 3rd. Now, they're not going to open up the season with MLS play, but it's the international stage. It is a CONCACAF Champions Cup game for San Diego FC. Frank, who are they playing, and what is the big update, or should I say, what is the scouting report on this game next week?
So they're going to be playing the Liga MX side, UNAM Pumas. This will be on February 3rd, so this upcoming Tuesday at Snapdragon Stadium. Pumas are going to bring quite a dynamic midfield to this game. Also, Guillermo Martinez, a dangerous striker, likes to use the body. And Pumas, with the way Liga MX all do their season, they cut it virtually in half. This team is already in mid-season form. Meanwhile, for San Diego FC, this is the first time they've played together since that game against the Vancouver Whitecaps to close out the MLS Cup playoffs. But they are coming off of the most successful expansion season in any MLS team's history.
And you look at San Diego FC, I mean, they're coming off of a 63-point Western Conference winning season. This is San Diego FC's first match of 2026. They'll be going against a very good and veteran goalkeeper for UNAM. But why San Diego FC can belong, it's got to look no further than Andres Dreyer and then his sidekick in Pellegrino.
Yeah, and that was the sidekick of Chucky Lozano last year. We were expecting Lozano to have the sidekick of Dreyer, but Dreyer last year, MLS Newcomer of the Year. If it wasn't for Lionel Messi, he would have won the MLS MVP award last year. And now you have Amal Pellegrino on his side, and Pellegrino really fit very, very well towards the back end of the season when everything was going on with San Diego FC and Chucky Lozano. They really have to figure out that striker, whether it's going to be a shadow striker or whether they're going to rely on somebody to take point up front if Dreyer and Pellegrino can't get the goals, but they certainly do have a lot of power in the forward positions.
We'll see how San Diego FC does in 2026 if they can build off of what they did last year. Looking forward to the game next week. All guests on 97 to the Fan join us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. I do want to mention, remember to tune in at 1 o'clock for us to announce today's biggest fan for a chance to qualify for a night in our Odyssey suite at a future Padres game with all the fan staff. Register your name at 97tothefansd.com/biggest fan in order to potentially have your name called. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. We are the Braden Surprenant Show, talking about some teams that could potentially have a move up their sleeve before spring training or before the start of the season as we go back to our baseball hour here on 97.3 The Fan. The Padres are not on this list, but there are some teams that the Padres do have to deal with multiple times, one being in the division and one for a cup. Let's get to the one in the division, Frank.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, the cup one through. I get it. I got it. It just goes to show that those gimmick series names will not take off. The San Francisco Giants are the next one on the list. San Francisco added Tyler Mahle and Adrian Hauser to its rotation over the winter, then brought in Harrison Bader to fill its outfield vacancy. But the feeling among rival executives is that Buster Posey has one more trick up his sleeve. One National League executive said, quote, "I can see the Giants surprising people and making a big move. 3/4 of the infield is set with Rafael Devers, Willie Adames, and Matt Chapman, but second base remains a need. One that could be filled with either a trade for Brendan Donovan
or Nico Horner. The Giants would benefit from the addition of one more pitcher as well, either in the rotation or in the bullpen, or ideally both.
Couldn't that be used for everybody?
You're noticing the trend here.
I just feel like that's everybody could use the pitching. I feel like it's everybody that's constantly, well, they could use a starter and a bullpen piece. Is that just what baseball writers have to put in there to make it like a full report? Well, they could also use this.
He's picking up on the trend.
Does anybody?
He's getting it.
I've always understood this. Does anybody ever say like, they don't really need more pitching? I mean, every report is like, well, they could also use more pitching. They could have the best 13 pitchers to ever walk this earth on a team. You could have them all on one team and then have the next best 13 in AAA. And it would still be, they could use another arm. Seriously, that's like everybody's conversation.
Well,
All right, I digress with that. Let's go back to the Giants for a second. As of right now, not overly concerned with San Francisco. I'm not overly concerned with San Francisco. If they add Brendan Donovan, I might be a little bit concerned. I think it's a good ad for them. I think it's a move that makes a lot of sense. And they, I think, are now part of the conversation for a wild card spot if they do that. I think it would make their infield a really solid infield in the National League West and in Major League Baseball.
I'd be more concerned if Nico Horner went there.
No, I like Brendan Donovan more than Nico Horner. I mean, we went over the comparisons a while ago when they were talking about this. Brendan Donovan, does a little bit more at the bat. I know Nico Horner's a really good defensive player as well. The only player I would not like to see go there is CJ Abrams. So
don't worry about that.
So I'm glad that they struck out on that potential deal. Who knows if they're done or not? But that would be the only player that would be a little, and it's only for a sense of like, getting burned by having one of your top prospects play for a division rival. But even then, he hasn't really burned you yet, and he could still potentially be part of your team. But for me, I think the best fit right now is for Brendan Donovan. I really do with the Giants because he's another guy that doesn't fit into the Cardinals' plans. We talked about this with the A's in the last segment, and I said this about the A's 2 years ago in this time slot. I said the Padres in 2024 should be trading for Mason Miller at the deadline. I threw a couple other players in there. When you come up with trade proposal and ideas, how do you improve the team? I was like, you got to get Mason Miller. And people were like, but he's under contract for all these years. Why would the A's do that? Because he doesn't fit in their timeline of success. When is the A's timeline of success? When do the A's want to be good?
2028?
When they open up the brand new stadium in Vegas. That's when they want to be good. Maybe the year before that. Mason Miller's not part of those plans. You know what they did? They ended up trading Mason Miller. And who did they get? Leo DeVries, somebody that could potentially be part of those plans. You go back to the Cardinals. The Cardinals right now have nobody under contract long-term. Nobody. Nobody's under contract long-term in terms of players with guaranteed salaries. They got a lot of young guys who are eligible for arbitration, right? The Cardinals are not competing in the next 2 to 3 years. Brendan Donovan does not fit into their years of success because he's a free agent in 2028, which means it's this year and next year. Are the Cardinals going to be a division winning level team this year? No. Are they going to be it next year? I highly doubt that they're just going to magically flip the switch and go buy a bunch of guys next year. Not when they have a young core that's under contract for the next 2 or 3. Brendan Donovan doesn't fit in the Cardinals' window to win. He's the perfect fit, I think, for the Giants. I'd be shocked if the Giants don't acquire Brendan Donovan. It would be a major miss by Buster Posey, who needs a second baseman, who needs the infield help. The best guy right now for them is Brendan Donovan to the Cardinals.
Like I've said, I just see him as a natural fit there in San Francisco. The Mariners. This was the Cup reference. The Mariners jumped into the market to re-sign first baseman Josh Naylor to a 5-year, $92.5 million deal, but then lost Jorge Polanco to the Mets and has yet to replace the infield position. With young infielders Colt Emerson, Cole Young, and Ben Williamson close to making an everyday impact, Seattle would like to fill Polanco's spot with a short-term commitment.
A trade for Brendan Donovan, who is under club control for 2 seasons and offers positional versatility, would accomplish that goal.
All right. The Mariners. I mean, they're threading the needle right now between winning now and also not blocking the kids in reality. I mean, that's a delicate dance that they have to do with some of the players that they have. I mean, they got the young guys that are nearly ready, but they're not really ready yet. And so now they have to find some veterans on 1-year deals. I think they're looking for infielders, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Brendan Donovan does to an extent, but I think he fits the Giants more because he's cheaper and he's under control for the next year. Like Nico Horner to me is more the Mariners because the Cubs can afford to lose him. He's only got 1 year left on his deal. He costs a little bit more money, costs you $12 million, which is the same as how much you're paying JP Crawford. So you'd have to go up a little bit in payroll, but I like Nico Horner there more than I like Brendan Donovan if we have to pick the two. I mean, for the Giants, why would you trade for Nico Horner and have 1 year of him if, I guess you're trying to re-sign him? It just doesn't make as much sense. But maybe the Mariners and Giants get into a bidding war for Brendan Donovan.
Yeah.
But if the guys are right there, those young infielders are nearly ready, I don't know why you would trade for a guy that you have 2 years of control unless you don't think they're going to be ready next year.
Yeah, and that's really all you would think of here. As we head to the next team, we're going to stick with the American League here. Baltimore made our list of teams that won. This is MLB.com's list of teams that won the offseason, thanks to the additions of Pete Alonso, Taylor Ward, Shane Baz, and Ryan Helsley. But the Orioles still have a hole atop their rotation that should be addressed. Framber Valdez makes the most sense, but the starting staff lacks a workhorse who could effectively eat innings, though Zach Gallen could also be a strong fit. If the Orioles can add a frontline starter between now and opening day, it would make them a serious contender in a loaded American League East.
I think they should go get Framber Valdez.
Yeah, you may as well. I mean, it was them and the Mets that were linked to Framber Valdez. It was them and the Mets who were linked to Ranher Suarez as well before Boston swooped in. Mets got the trade done for Freddie Peralta. Framber Valdez has more or less fallen into their lap.
I think Framber Valdez fits the Orioles more than he fits anybody else. I mean, Baltimore is a team that has some extra money that they can spend. They have a lot of young talent. What their biggest problem was starting pitching, bullpen pitching. I mean, it's been pitching has been their problem. And with the young talent that they have on their team, they need the pitching to kind of balance out. They could go get a Framber Valdez. They got Zach Eflin coming off the books next year because he's not going to accept mutual options. Almost never go through. Yeah. And most of the guys that are under contract are not under contract for a long time. Tyler O'Neill's got 2 years left. Ryan Helsley signed basically a 1 year deal with a player option. Zach Eflin is on a 1 year deal. Andrew Kittredge is on a 1 year deal. Ryan Mountcastle's on a 1 year deal. They have the money to spend long term where they could backload the contract, bring in Framber Valdez, and make yourself a legitimate threat in the American League East.
I agree with that 100%. Going to my division, the National League East, the Philadelphia Phillies did their...
I didn't know you owned that division.
Exactly.
When did you find all this money?
Don't worry about it.
Was it Renee's grandson?
Don't worry about it.
Stop racking up bills on Renee's grandson's YouTube page. Okay.
Change your password then. I don't know what to tell you. The Phillies did...
Stupid games win stupid prizes, kid.
The Phillies did their heavy lifting early, re-signing Kyle Schwarber to a 5-year, $150 million deal, and later bringing back JT Realmuto on a 3-year, $45 million contract. They lost Ranher Suarez to free agency, and while the plan is for top prospect Andrew Painter to ultimately fill that spot, Philadelphia could look at adding starting pitching depth, possibly with a swing man who could move to the bullpen when Painter is ready. The Phillies could also use a right-handed hitting outfielder such as Miguel Andujar or Randall Grichuk.
Phillies really betting on timing and internal development. That's kind of a risk when you are a win-now team.
Yep.
When you're a win-now team.
I don't mind it.
Yeah, of course you don't. That's not great, Phillies fans, when the resident Mets fan is super fired up about how your offseason went.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, here we
The
go.
one team that's going to beat the Mets every year is the Mets.
Nobody's better than the Mets. Just the Mets are better than the Mets.
Yet nobody is better at beating the Mets than the Mets are.
The Mets are the best at beating the Mets.
Exactly.
Okay, well, in that particular sense, I'd agree with that. Yeah, I think the Phillies are playing a dangerous game. And here's the thing. The Phillies are aging quickly.
Mm-hmm.
The Phillies are aging quickly.
Bryce Harper's not a spring chicken anymore.
No, he's not elite anymore either. Just ask their owner. Guy's been wearing that Bryce Harper is not elite shirt while he works out at every single workout. You know what? That's a way to light a fire under your ass. I look at the Phillies and I look at what I thought the Dodgers were going to slowly start turning into, and it is age is going to start killing them because Father Time is undefeated. Have you looked at the Phillies roster, how old everybody is?
No, I
Most of the
try
players
to avoid giving my computer a virus by going on the Phillies website.
They have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. They have 12 players with guaranteed salaries, and a lot of them have guaranteed salaries for a long time. The Phillies, the 12 players that have guaranteed salaries with the Phillies are all over the age of 30. Zach Wheeler is 35 years old this year.
Ooh.
He still has 2 more years left on his deal, and he's getting $42 a year. Kyle Schwarber just signed. He's going to be 33 this year. He's under contract for the next 5 years until he's 38. Trey Turner is 32 and a half.
Don't call 33 old.
In baseball, it's old.
Stop.
He still has another. He's got his
Stop
adult life
that.
after him. Well, stop. Okay, don't be soft.
Get some
about
help.
This. Trey Turner's 32 years old. He is one of the old. He's an older player. He's under contract for a long period of time. Bryce Harper's 33. Aaron Nola 32. Nick Castellanos is 34. He's got a year left. Taijuan Walker 33 and a half. JT Realmuto 35. Brad Keller 30. Adolis Garcia 33. I mean, this team is littered with 30-year-olds. And a lot of their players eligible for arbitration are right there close to 30 as well. Jesus Luzardo's 28. Alec Boehm's 29 and a half. Edmundo Sosa's 30 years old. Johan Duran's 28 years old. Bryson Stott, 28. Brandon Marsh, 28. Garrett Stubbs is 32. Tanner Bakes is 34. Zach Pop, 29. They got no young players coming. They have no young players. They are old. The window is starting to close for the Philadelphia Phillies, Frank.
Yes, it is.
The Red Sox have been active this offseason, adding Ronher Suarez, Sonny Gray, and Wilson Contreras. But the loss of Alex Bregman created a huge hole in the infield. Marcelo Mayer is capable of playing either second base or third base, giving the Red Sox some options. Could Eugenio Suarez be the solution at third, adding a big power bat to the lineup? Or perhaps a trade for Isaac Paredes or Brandon Donovan is the preferred route. Either way, Boston remains in need of a starting infielder and seems likely to add one soon.
This roster seems unfinished.
Yes.
It not only does it feel seem unfinished, I think the Red Sox know it's unfinished.
Yeah. I just think they gave Christian Campbell that
hasn't really worked
big
out.
Ronald Acuna extension. Then they sent him down like a month later. So
That hasn't really worked
not
out for
worked
them.
at all.
Yeah, they made some moves. They put a couple of extra. They really improved their starting. Their starting rotation is really good, but this roster and infield looks incomplete.
Mm-hmm.
And the Red Sox know they got to make. They got all this money though. I mean, look at the revenue thing. They could spend up to $400 million on their payroll. They choose not to.
I mean, it's you have a bunch of outfielders. I would have to assume that Roman Anthony is going to get the bulk of the work in center field. Ceddanne Rafaela probably in right. I honestly can't think of anyone else who has right field. But this all started this time last year when they signed Alex Bregman. You signed Alex Bregman, traded away Rafael Devers because you annoyed him. And then because you annoyed him, he annoyed you to the point where you just couldn't take it anymore. and then you lost Alex Bregman. You had two great players, and now you have neither one of them because of your own ignorance and stupidity.
Yeah, now they don't have either.
Mhm.
That's right. This just feels incomplete. Feels like they're missing a Devers. Feels like they're missing a Bregman. Feels like they're missing that one extra piece. And the Red Sox have done that even before. They did that before, like with Chaim Bloom. They did the same thing. Like they had the killer bees out there with Benintendi, Betts, and Bogarts. None of them stayed. None of them stayed. And the thing is, you want to talk about a team. You know what? You know whose fault it is? You know who's the real problem of baseball? I'll tell you when we come back. You know who the real team is that's the problem of baseball? I'll tell you when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. Since NASCAR is coming to San Diego in 2026 over Father's Day weekend, and it's going to be playing it's going to be racing at Coronado, and it's going to be the outdoor race. It's going to be fun. The street race here in San Diego is the NASCAR in San Diego has found a deal. It's going to come here for the next couple of years. It sounds like should be a fun event. We're looking forward to it, but we want to keep you updated on what's going on in NASCAR before we lead into what is going to be a massive event here in San Diego. So we're going to do these motorsports updates. Again, we only have so much time. Our real estate's very precious, but we want to add more content to our show. That's why we're doing these extra segments in the commercial breaks, the weekly hits, if you will. All of our stuff's going to be on YouTube as well. You can go to the YouTube page at @B_SURP, where you can find that, become a member, all that fun stuff. We will let you know about that throughout the show. But we got NASCAR coming. Big event always coming up in the next couple of weeks, which is the Daytona 500, which I know everybody's excited for. It's the Sunday after the Super Bowl, so we're looking forward to seeing that. That's always a fun race, but there's a lot of things coming up in NASCAR in the next couple of weeks or so, and Frank Marchese has our motorsports update this week focusing on NASCAR.
Yep. So right now we've got the Clash coming up this weekend, the Cookout Clash that'll be held at Bowman Gray Stadium. Now, we'll take a short view back to the past here. Way back in 1937, the city of Winston-Salem decided to build a multi-purpose venue called Bowman Gray Stadium to house the local university's football team, Winston-Salem State Rams, and auto racing. The city built a football field and a racetrack in the same place, substituting the running track around the football field with a dirt quarter-mile oval to hold local weekly racing and NASCAR. NASCAR actually ran at Bowman Gray Stadium. The Cup Series did from 1958 all the way up until 1971. And then after that, it fell off the schedule, and it was left mainly to weekly racing series and later on the K&N Pro Series, or the ARCA Menard Series, as it's known now. The Bowman Gray Stadium has earned the nickname over the years, the Madhouse, because it is a very small, very tight, very narrow racetrack with real estate being so precious and it becoming a race that's so unique that so many people want to win. A lot of NASCAR's Cup Series regulars that you see on the circuit right now, such as Kyle Larson, William Byron, Alex Bowman, Bubba Wallace, and Ryan Preece, have all cut their teeth at the Madhouse at Bowman Gray Stadium. Now, the history of the Clash, it's been mostly at Daytona. The last couple of years, it had been at the LA Coliseum. And now, after NASCAR purchased the racing rights around Bowman Gray Stadium in late 2024, it then moved to Bowman Gray Stadium with Chase Elliott winning the race last year. This is a non-points event. It is an exhibition race that will be, it's expected to be held at least this weekend. There's going to be freezing temperatures. There's a potential of snow. Goodyear is actually sending all-weather tires to the teams, so it's just fueling the fantasy of a snow race at Bowman Gray Stadium. Guys to watch out for this weekend: Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano always seem to be really, really good in these exhibition races. The races begin on Saturday with modified and sportsman practice, qualifying, and then the races. You can watch those races on Flow Racing. Then NASCAR takes over 3:10 p.m. Pacific time on FS1 will be the NASCAR qualifying, followed by the heats later on in the day. That's scheduled to start around 5:30. And then on Sunday at 3 p.m. Pacific time on Fox, it will be the last chance qualifier and then the big race at 5 p.m. Pacific time this weekend. Possibly could be pushed back to the middle of the week.
That's the update for NASCAR and our motorsports update. Frank's going to have a lot of those updates throughout the year. Again, we're going to do these weekly updates. We're doing it for a lot of sports right now. Try to keep it as entertaining as possible for you watching in a commercial or watching on YouTube. So we appreciate you guys staying tuned to that. We will be back with another motorsports update next week on the Braden Surprenant Show. You can catch our show every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego State Sports Station, 97.3 The Fan. Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, we know how. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. If you haven't done so already, follow us on social media. You can do that at B_SURP, at BSURP. You can also follow us on the Braden Surprenant Show at BSURP Show. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page. We look forward to seeing you guys over there. A handful of you are over there right now. Big shout out to all the members of the YouTube page. Really appreciate that. Helps us put out more content, which we're going to do on that YouTube page. Some of you guys are enjoying some of our commercial breaks on YouTube, which are set to be extra segments that we can't get in throughout the week, but keeping you updated on what's going on locally in sports, as well as some of the other sports that we don't have too much time to really talk about. All right. As much as everybody, and this has been has this not been the entire conversation of the offseason, Frank? Has this not been the conversation of the entire offseason? The conversation of the entire offseason has been, it's been pretty simple. The entire conversation of the offseason has been about the Dodgers. And you either are a shill for the Dodgers or you're anti the Dodgers and what they're doing. Most people understand that the Dodgers are a massive problem to Major League Baseball. And it's not really them. It is more so the system that the Dodgers have exploited, in which a lot of other people that are the Dodger shills, most notably the national media members, have gone on to say, well, it's not the Dodgers' fault. It's really these little teams down here that aren't spending any money. You shouldn't be mad at the Dodgers. You should be mad at the Rockies. You should be mad at the A's. You should be mad at these teams down here at the bottom that don't spend any money. I've now countered that. I think, you know what? You know who you want to be mad at? Baseball fans. Do you know who you want to be mad at? I'll tell you. Because it ain't the Athletics and it ain't the Rockies. You know who you should be mad at? You should be mad at the Boston Red Sox. It's really the Boston Red Sox that is what's the problem with Major League Baseball. The Boston Red Sox are a team that has let a lot of talent walk away because they didn't want to pay for them. As a team that makes almost $500 million in revenue, according to Forbes. That is the team that you want to be mad at. You want to be mad at the Boston Red Sox. I don't know where that sheet went. Do you have that sheet accessible
For
the payrolls that we had the other day? Wherever that sheet went.
Yeah,
The Boston Red Sox are 23rd in Major League Baseball in percentage of their revenue that they spend on payroll. They have plenty of resources to keep some of the best players. They have plenty of resources to outbid some teams in Major League Baseball. They have plenty of resources to go toe-to-toe with the Dodgers. Oh, and by the way, they're usually one of the better organizations in baseball, a place in which players would actually like to sign with, to an extent. I mean, dealing with their fans is probably a gigantic pain in the ass. I'll give you that. But as you look at this chart, everybody look at this chart that's watching on YouTube. Remember, we've seen this chart probably hundreds of thousands of times now. It's been circulating, the last couple of months because of the Dodgers and this and that and yada, yada, yada. Take a quick look at this chart. It breaks everybody down based on revenue, how much money of their payroll is being spent. Oh, and then it's sorted by payroll divided by revenue in terms of percentage of how much the revenue teams spend on their payroll. And we've been spending a lot of time on the Dodgers and look how much extra money they have. No wonder they could spend the most, yada, yada, yada. I want you to look at number 23 on the list and number 26 on the list. You want to be mad at anybody in Major League Baseball for not spending money, for not putting a good product on the field, for everything that you want to blame the A's and the Rockies for. I present to you the Boston Red Sox, who are the fourth highest in payroll. Correction.
Fourth highest in
revenue and 23rd on percentage of revenue going to their payroll. I will also present to you number 26, the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs make $584 million in revenue, yet they spend only 36.4% of that on their payroll. You want some of the best teams competing for some of the best players. You want them to not have everybody be on one team. You look no further than the Boston Red Sox, who actually shipped off one of their best young players to the Los Angeles Dodgers back in 2020 in Mookie Betts. And they did it for nothing. The Dodgers got him for basically nothing. The Red Sox let Xander Bogaerts walk. Another guy that they could have had extended for a long period of time. They let all of their core players leave. They don't spend a high percentage of their revenue on money, and they coast and sit and go oh, we don't get any criticism because we spend $242 million on our payroll. See, look, we spend top 10 in payroll. Look at the percentages, guys. You want to get mad at somebody in Major League Baseball for not contributing and spending the revenue that they get and to the means that they can, look no further than the Boston Red Sox and the Chicago Cubs. You want to be mad at somebody in baseball? Don't be mad at the the Rockies and the A's. They at least spend a higher percentage of their revenue on their payroll. No, be mad at the Cubs and the Red Sox. If you really want to be mad at somebody, I think it's easy to, just throw shade towards the little guy teams out there in Major League Baseball. But look at the percentages. You want to throw shade, throw it at them. Those are the teams that are hurting the system. If you want to find somebody that's not the Dodgers, that's what you want to do. 833-288-973, 833-288-973. It's time to get to today's sports thread.
The one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news.
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk. Brought to you by QC Kinetics. Stop sitting on the sidelines. QC Kinetics gets you back in the game without surgery. To learn how, visit QCkinetics.com.
Guess who just got a contract extension?
Who would it be?
That'd be Jacob Wilson.
Rightfully earned, too.
Shortstop Jacob Wilson Wilson and the Athletics are in agreement on a 7-year, $70 million contract extension that includes an 8-year club option. Sources tell ESPN. This is Jeff Passenbaum. Wilson, who's 23, finished second in AL Rookie of the Year voting last season after hitting 311, 355, 444. There's your first story of the day. I flipped it on you. How about that?
Number 1.
That's your pre-sports thread question.
Gotcha. All right.
How about that?
How about it?
By the way,
Number 2.
I don't know what Fangraphs has Jacob Wilson listed as a 35-year-old on their website.
Oh, for God's sake.
Come on, Fangraphs. Nobody pays attention to the A's, I guess.
No, you're right.
On to the next one.
Was that was the reference to the song, wasn't
Yes,
it?
it was.
Good.
I'm glad you caught that. You're so smart, Frank.
Thank you. See, he's so nice. He's a nice boss. The Falcons hired former Bears assistant general manager Ian Cunningham as their new general manager, continuing a major organizational overhaul after years of mediocrity. Cunningham, 40, played a key role in Chicago's rebuild and previously won Super Bowls with the Eagles and Ravens, and now joins the president of football, Matt Ryan, and coach Kevin Stefanski in Atlanta. A Georgia native and longtime Falcons fan, Cunningham said he is eager to help restore winning energy to a franchise that has not made the playoffs since 2017. Is Ian Cunningham the right long-term architect for the Falcons, or does the success of this rebuild hinge more on Matt Ryan and Kevin Stefanski getting it right on the field?
Well, Matt Ryan's not on the field anymore, so
well, as far as getting players to play on the field.
Okay. I don't know. This seems like a better question for Adam Klug with Ian Cunningham. But Ian Cunningham is an executive who went to Virginia for school. He was undrafted in the NFL draft. He played offensive guard. He spent his time playing with the Chiefs a little bit, and then he went into operations, learned with the Ravens. He was with the Ravens from 2008 to 2016, personnel assistant, area scout. Then he went to the Eagles and was with the Eagles as the director of college scouting, assistant director of player personnel, director of player personnel. He was with the Eagles from 2017 to 2021, and then assistant GM with the Bears the last handful of years. And the Bears have started to turn things around a little bit in the last couple of years with a lot of the moves that they made. So from that, I think that he was trained properly. I like the organizations that he was with before he ended up going to the Bears. I think the last 2 years for the Bears have been a lot better in the way that they have built the team. And so I like this hire from an Atlanta Falcons perspective. Whether or not Adam Klug does, that remains to be seen. He is the fan of the Falcons, but I don't mind this move for Atlanta and a great opportunity for him to be a general manager.
We'll see if he pops up in the chat.
Number 3.
The Eagles hired former NFL quarterback Sean Mannion, 33, as their new offensive coordinator.
Carlsbad Lancer, Sean Mannion, by the way.
Betting on a young, fast-rising coach with limited experience. Mannion coached 2 seasons, most recently as the Packers quarterbacks coach, working with Jordan Love, and played 9 years in the NFL after being drafted by the Rams in 2015. Philadelphia pivoted to Mannion after missing on veteran candidates, hoping his modern offensive approach can revive a unit, words, that struggled in 2024 and is now in its 5th offensive coordinator since Jalen Hurts became the starter. Is hiring an inexperienced but, quote, bright young mind like Sean Mannion a necessary gamble for the Eagles, or another risky reset for an offense desperate for stability around Hurts?
I mean, he's got very limited experience as he's never been a coordinator. I mean, he just got out of the league in 2023 as a backup quarterback, the Oregon State Beaver. It's definitely a risk. To me, for a guy like Jalen Hurts, I think you need somebody better than Sean Mannion. But you know what? See if he does well. I don't really like the hire too much. I think it's okay.
I don't like the Eagles too much.
Nobody really likes the Eagles, But anyway.
As you do.
Yeah, somebody's like, you're looking at the wrong player. I'm not. Jacob Wilson, 35 and a half years old, according to Fangraphs, which I know is wrong because he's young. Why would they give a 35-year-old a 7-year deal? That'd be kind of A's of them, wouldn't it? New lunchtime hour when we come back. Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego State Sports Station 97 through the Fan.
time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
Jacob Wilson, aged 12 years, playing for the Athletics. That's all I need to know about playing for the A's, I guess.
Those minor league amenities will kill you every time.
Now you definitely sound like you got something in your nose.
Yeah, I do.
It's not a Friday show without one of us getting a bloody nose. Apparently.
Exactly.
Well, it is dry. It's hot outside. It's, the change in the weather again here in San Diego, surprisingly. So it makes a lot of sense.
My allergist will be thrilled to death to hear about this.
Oh, no.
Oh, because she recommended me a nose spray, like an over-the-counter, like a Flonase kind of deal, to help with that, and it hasn't worked.
Uh-oh.
Love that.
Interesting. All right, let's get to, we got some NFL stuff here, too, that we want to get to today. Everybody that joins us on the David P. Shapiro fan hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorney, is helping good people regain control of their future. When charged with a crime, visit davidpshapirolaw.com.
Nate, I'm poor.
Oh, no. He better knows candy.
That's why I didn't say.
Nice. Foul. It's a foul on Friday.
He draws the foul.
Do you think we should make foul t-shirts?
Of course. Why not?
I think we should.
Especially the soccer season coming back. We could put the cards on there.
I mean, it's more of a basketball thing.
Oh, true. Yeah. Depends.
Do you know, what the reference is? You know what the reference is from, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, it's from Fletch.
Yeah.
Fletch was
He's a
obsessed with
basketball
basketball.
coach, yeah.
It wasn't a basketball
No,
coach.
yeah,
He was just
know.
obsessed with basketball.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah.
He draws the foul.
By the way, speaking of being obsessed with something you're not actually participating in,
Okay.
have you seen this one guy? I think I may have sent it to you on Instagram. There's a reel of this guy going around now who just got arrested in New York City.
This seems oddly specific to you.
It kind of is. He loves trains.
Oh, what a surprise. Here we
He
go.
loves the subway system.
Okay.
Ever since this guy was 15, he's in his 40s now, I think. Ever since he was 15, he had bought his own MTA uniform and would just drive the trains. Like, he would take over routes and drive the trains.
How did he do that? What do you mean he takes over routes?
He learned. He grabs
What did he hijack the subway?
Yeah, he grabs a train. He makes all the stops. He follows all the rules. He's never once had an accident.
Hold on a second. He just goes and gets a train. He gets one of the subway cars that's not operating.
Yeah.
And he jumps in one, and then he pretends to be the subway operator.
No, he does it for real. Yeah, he's
not employed by the.
No, he's not. He's
pretending to do that.
He has never had an accident.
What does that mean?
I'm just saying, like, it's not like he's wreaking havoc. He's just doing the job and not getting paid for it because he enjoys it.
Did he ever apply for the job?
Yes, and they won't hire him because he's a convicted felon. He's been arrested for doing this like 20 some odd times.
Wait a minute. Hang on a second.
He does know how to draw, if that helps out any.
Hold on a second. Let me rewind. Okay, we got a guy in New York that really loves being a subway operator that never once.
He loves.
Did he first apply, or did he start off his career by just hijacking subways.
He started doing this apparently when he was 15. So
Okay,
he would not have been he would not have been legally allowed to be hired.
So he started participating in Grand Theft Subway. And then he just started driving subway cars around like it was a video game. And he got arrested for that when he was 15?
I don't know when he's been arrested.
You said he got arrested for this 20 times?
Yes, he's been arrested for this 20 times, upwards of 20 times.
Maybe he could have just waited like 3 years and then applied to just do the job.
Listen, I don't know, man.
I don't know how you're like justifying this, right?
I'm not justifying it.
You were making it sound like, hey, good for this guy for
Honestly,
hijacking a subway.
No, what I'm saying
and he's doing the right. Well, he's just doing the job, and he's not getting paid for it.
It's the criminal version of Sheldon.
I don't watch that show.
Of Big Ben. Yeah,
I know what.
No, I know you know.
They play the reruns on KUSI.
But I'm saying, just like he's had a perfect, flawless record. Like if there's a signal broken, he'll fix the signal. Like if there's
he's had a perfectly flawless record aside from the fact that he has hijacked,
the fact that he has
stolen
he's not employed
subway trains in New York City.
At this point, if you're MTA, if someone from MTA is listening, I know you're not. Just hire my man's at this point. Like, I mean, because he's shown he's going to keep doing it. And he hasn't caused any problems. As a matter of fact, he's fixed a couple problems for you guys from what I read. Just make my man's dream come true.
I agree with Juan Ruiz. They should probably make a movie out of this.
Yeah.
I mean, they made a movie. I saw a movie the other day with Channing Tatum in it. And I forget the name already. It was good though. Channing Tatum. Let me look up his last couple movies here. Yeah, Roofman. Did you hear about that story?
No.
So like Channing Tatum it's based on a true story. This guy, he was ex-military and he needed to he wasn't making any money doing any stuff, and then he started using his training to just rob McDonald's. But he would do it going into the roof. So he was a divorced U.S. Army veteran living in North Carolina. He struggled to provide for his 3 young children, and he cuts into a McDonald's fast food restaurant. And the whole thing, he was the nicest criminal.
Uh-huh.
So what he would do is he would rob the place. He would be very polite, and he would tell the McDonald's employees early in the morning, they'd go sit in the freezer. He'd make sure they get their jackets first. Get your jackets, get in the freezer, open up the safe, and then he would steal the money, and then he would call the cops to get the people out of the freezer.
No, he's not a relative, Clay.
And then he would get out, right? And then, he ends up, I think, getting arrested, and then I think he does it again later, and then he ends up living in a Toys R Us trying to hide out, and that's kind of the premise of the movie.
Yeah.
Without me giving it away, but it's pretty good. He was a nice guy, but he's still doing criminal things. You can't allow this man to then just start working at the subway. That's not how this movie ends.
If he's doing a better job than anyone else driving a New York City subway, then give it to him, which honestly is not a hard bar to clear.
That sets a very bad precedent for safety in a lot of things.
In New York City
if
subway,
you just hijack one of our subways and you do a good job doing it on your own, then it's okay. So now you're going to have a bunch of people just trying to hijack sub. Why apply for the job, but I can just hijack the subway and then do it myself?
I want to say this now. Obviously, if you are a rail fan the way I am, please do not go and try to prove that you're good enough to do the job.
You know what? This is starting to make a lot more sense.
Stealing an MTS trolley. Do not do that. Do not take over a bus and start doing bus routes. Do not do that. There are better, more legal ways of doing things. That is not one of them. It's just an interesting story. It's just a story that I found interesting.
Yeah, you can't have people.
Yeah, do not hijack public transportation for your own benefit. Do not do that.
You can't have somebody that wants to be a bus driver, pilot, any type of commercial,
especially pilot.
You can't have them just try to prove it, Frank. I don't care how good this guy was.
It's called a simulator.
He's obviously a little crazy. Because he continues to do it over and over and over again.
I said he knows how to draw.
This is a crazy story. I can't.
I'll show you the reel during the break.
You were kind of like
I'll show you the
justifying this poor guy. You know what? This makes a lot of sense.
The New York City subway.
This makes a lot of sense. You want to know why this makes a lot of sense to anybody out there? When we showed up to Baja Ricks for the playoff show at Baja Ricks, BNSF started to roll through, and Frank had to physically stop setting us up for the broadcast to go look at he physically stopped the setup.
I physically stopped because one, the trade was going by, but number two, promotions.
He said, "Hang on, I gotta stop.
Promotions was putting the tent over us. No, I did not. I never left the area.
He started to walk away, and he was mesmerized by the train. He was thinking about it. He was thinking about boarding the train and driving it himself. This makes sense now.
I know how to do it.
Of course, I'm sure you do. My God.
There are simulators that are purchasable.
You know what? You need to go apply
that I have had
to be the guy that drives the little train by the zoo. You need to apply to do that job. You need to start there. And then you got to apply. You got to volunteer to work at the train museum. I'm surprised you haven't done that yet.
No, because I would need to get paid for that.
See, you got to start somewhere.
There's knowledge that
you got to start somewhere.
Knowledge that needs to be paid for. I'm sorry.
You have to start somewhere. Volunteer in the community. Help out the young.
That's what Tuesday was for.
The little Franks that roll through the train museum that want to be like. That's, you know what? You could be helping out a lot of people. I think we're onto something. And as a resident of San Diego now, I guess you don't have to pay for parking at Balboa. This is great. We have a great idea.
Oh, we won on that? The people won on that?
It's still in the works.
Oh, why'd you get all? You got us all excited.
The latest report I heard was that people were upset, as they should be, because
they should be.
It's a sham. I don't want to get into politics, but they decided to step back a little bit. Well, residents don't have to pay. All right, we're in the right direction here. We're stepping the foot in the right direction.
No one has to pay.
You know what? Don't start this show on parking fees, and don't start the afternoon show on bike lanes. Have you heard Chris Ello's bike lane spiel?
I have not.
I don't want to hear it again.
I'm sure I share his same feelings, and my mom is now just barraging me with tweets and gifs, and
as she
making
should.
Fun of me.
I'm telling you, you should do it. What else are you doing? This is a way
your
for
mom
you know
sticks
what?
up. Your mom sticks up for you. Mine makes fun of me.
Mine makes fun of me too. I just don't repeat those on air. You know what? We're on to something here with you, Frank. What else would you be doing? What else would you be doing if you were not? You go home. You remember, you want to get out more. You want to do more things. You'd be doing that. You're doing that for free anyway. Why don't you do something that's fun for you that benefits the community by teaching the young people and teaching the people that are interested in trains about? I think you should find a way to volunteer at the train museum. Or figure out how to be the guy that drives the train around out right next to the zoo. Come on.
Clay,
this is a great idea.
Clay, no, I'm sure my mom is not the only one making fun of me. I'm sure all of you guys are as well.
No. I don't know why, because you didn't hijack a subway and start driving it around.
You're right. I did not do that.
Keep Frank away. And you know what? Frank said he's taking the trolley on Saturday. Maybe this is not a good idea.
I will not be. I've taken the trolley many times. Never once have I had the urge
to hijack the trolley.
Never once.
Well, I'm glad that's the case.
Thank you for putting me on the city watch list now.
You're welcome. You brought it up. You know what? You were projecting. Based on this particular story. What's wrong with you volunteering at the train museum? I think this is a great idea. You could drive one of those Old Town trolleys.
No.
I'm telling you, we're getting you out there more. In 2026, we're going to let you help the community. I agree, Clay. We're not laughing at Frank. We're laughing with Frank.
And kind of at him.
SD Mike, we could all be volunteer EMTs, firefighters, and police, because that's how Frank apparently thinks you get a job.
You could be a volunteer firefighter.
Yeah, you have to pass training against it. This is why there's training in different, because you can't just have people like, oh, I'll give it a shot. That's a crazy story. 833-288. He could drive the train at the Plaza Bonita Mall. Hey.
I almost got run over by that thing.
You know what?
Yeah, I may as well.
You know what?
Show them how it's done.
We got to look up how to volunteer at the train museum. Does anybody work at the train museum that listens to our show, get in contact with Frank. We got to get him down there. You would have a blast. You could help build the tracks and stuff.
You would get me down there because I would be because it's in the basement of one of the buildings. So yeah, which again, a little on the nose to put the train museum in the basement of one of the buildings in the museum. Little on the nose.
I'm just saying, I feel like this is a great opportunity for you. Like, do they have Craft Taco?
Not in
they
that
open up a
building,
Craft
no.
Taco, you'd be definitely in it.
Not in that building.
Yeah, hang out with all the 9-year-old volunteers. It'd be great.
All right, Mom, I get it. Please stop sending me.
I think this is
stop sending me
Frank,
gifs.
I think this is a great idea. I really do. I think this is a great idea. Then you could walk the Craft Taco.
I could.
Why didn't we think about this sooner? This could have ended the Craft Taco bit like in the middle of the summer. I like this. I'm glad you brought this up. I'm going to look into this for you. You know what? I might volunteer. I was just volunteer for you.
No, you're going to volunteer with me because you're doing if we're doing this, we're doing it for content.
I have 4 jobs, dude. I don't have time to do this.
Then you don't volunteer
I play softball on Mondays. You can volunteer at the train museum.
We're doing this for content.
No. This is the betterment of Frank right here. This is to make Frank a well-rounded individual, helping out. Where else do you help out the community?
The next time would be to benefit the community. The first time would be for content.
We could do the content like Lil Mo Mozzarella does, where he walks into the deli and it's the 2 guys from Boston, except it's me going to the train museum and you teach me something new every time.
Yeah,
and then it turns into me making fun of you. And then you fall and then you reply with insults back. That'd be a hilarious bit.
Listen, I can touch that. You can't. So,
You know what? I agree. Go Aztecs.
I could drive that.
By this guy's logic of hijacking the subway, I should just walk in to the NCAA offices and be like, I'm the president now.
There you go.
I'm the captain now. I'm going to tell you how to do this. I'm going to do it better than you. I don't need to apply. I'm just going to start doing it. This is the logic that Frank has justifying the subway stealer that wanted to just be the subway driver, and he's done this 20 times.
Nate has it right. I'm going to hijack one of the Weenie Mobiles for the Weenie 500 at Indianapolis this summer. I see. They were paid actors. They tried to make that race entertaining. I'm out there to win. If I'm hijacking
a vehicle of some kind, it's going to be a wiener. That's what it is.
If I'm hijacking an Oscar Mayer Wiener Mobile and participating in a race, I'm there to win. If I win by 10 seconds and completely ruin the show and it gets kicked off of Fox and back on the app, fine. I'm there for the trophy.
I need you saying that for open. If I'm here to hijack anything, it's a wiener. That boom.
If I am here to hijack anything, it is the Wiener Mobile.
Add that to one of our beds.
100%.
We got to take a break. Vincent Chula Vista, stay on hold. We're going to get to you when we come back. We'll talk about some of the big moves that could be made. There's some trades in the NFL that could be made that could benefit a lot of teams. Who's on the trading block? We'll tell you next. Farmers Insurance Open in town this weekend as San Diego will be the host of the PGA. It's part of the overall tour that, as we've discussed on the show before, something that's not necessarily a given for San Diego moving forward. What do I mean by that? Well, the PGA Tour is trying to redo the schedule. Now, this is very important because the Farmers Insurance Open is one of those events that's around the calendar for the PGA Tour that they're trying to rework. It's a very important event here in San Diego. Dates back to 1952, has been played at Torrey Pines for 59 straight years, one of the oldest continuous tour stops. And despite that, nothing is guaranteed until the PGA reveals its long-term vision. This is something that is a tournament that is so recognizable here in San Diego, but also for the rest of the United States, and something that definitely needs to continue on the new PGA Tour. But the big problem is for the Farmers Insurance Open, if and when it comes back, which I think is going to come back, it has to have the new name and a new title sponsor. But this is a tournament that has to be part of the PGA Tour.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. It is, as we said, it's been so iconic for San Diego. Dates all the way back to 1952. It's been played at Torrey Pines for the last 59 years. it's the perfect open to a season. I mean, when you really think about it, this is where the PGA Tour season really starts. I know it's not the first official stop, but when you think about when the golf season starts, Torrey Pines in San Diego, whatever the tournament's name may be, is where you think of.
We talked about it on our show a couple of days ago, but the reality is there's a lot of other tournaments that they can lop off with not as big of purses that would save the Farmers Insurance Open. And there's a couple of big reasons why I think the Farmers Insurance Open will stay. One of them being, the media presence for this thing. I mean, ESPN, for the first time in 20 years, will air live coverage of a non-major PGA Tour event on the first 2 days of the Farmers Insurance Open, which signals, I think, to me, the event still carries very much a national value. And here's the other reason why. When it's an iconic tournament, you see the ocean views. It feels like a major championship pedigree, even though it doesn't carry that in the PGA Tour. But a lot of emotional ties to star players, and no player does this course loom larger for than Tiger Woods, who has won the Farmers 7 times and has also won a U.S. Open at Torrey Pines. His personal history here helped elevate the event, I think, nationally, but also Tiger chairs the PGA Tour's future competition committee, which is the one that is shaping up the tour to what it will look like beyond 2027. I think this is a big play. ESPN being involved, wanting to air it, as well as Tiger Woods having a lot of nostalgia at this tournament.
Yeah, I believe we said this is the only non-major that ESPN is broadcasting. Now, they're broadcasting just the first 2 days of it, but especially you're picking up the first 2 days. You're picking up day one and cut day. Now, it's only for 3 hours. You're going from 9 a.m. to noon Pacific time, but still, that is major for ESPN to fork out the money to be able to broadcast the first couple days of a tournament instead of the last two. And also shows their willingness to want to broadcast this. I think really highlights how special the PGA Tour at San Diego really is.
The Farmers Insurance Open, again, and we're going to talk about, or should we say, is, they got some big names in the tournament field still. Still a lot of big names. Brooks Koepka, who just came back from the Live Tour, will be in it. Max Homa, Ludwig Arberg, Harris English, San Diegans, Xander Schauffele, JJ Spawn, Jason Day, Justin Rose, Hideki Matsuyama. I mean, there's still a lot of big names on the tour that participate in this. But the bottom line is for the Farmers Insurance Open, it's not in immediate danger, but it's no longer untouchable. And this future hinges on sponsorship replacement, PGA Tour restructuring, and whether history and identity still matter in a modern tour chasing scarcity and stars. And I'm curious to see how this plays out. But to me, I think it's better for the PGA Tour to have the Farmers Insurance Open, or should I say Torrey Pines, part of the tour.
Yeah, 100%. And whatever name it ends up going under, that's the first step, is getting the name. Once you can get that sponsor, get that locked in, your future at a place is really set. And I don't think that San Diego is going to have to try too hard to try to lure a big name sponsor in for such a prestigious tournament.
Should be a fun time at the Farmers Insurance Open. We'll see you at Torrey. All right, Frank showed me the breakdown. You know what? I think this is a great opportunity for David P. Shapiro criminal defense attorneys who sponsor our hotline. They help good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. This guy needs to call them.
We have an amendment to that story, by the way.
Yeah, apparently it wasn't 20-something times.
He hasn't been arrested 20 times. That was a little overblown.
He's been arrested 32 times for doing this.
And sent to maximum security prison.
And it's not just subways. It's like buses. It's like every form of New York City public transportation he has done.
Yep.
And he does everything to the book.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But they won't hire him because he's got a criminal record. They should just make his prison sentence driving these buses around. Or subways.
You don't have to pay him.
It's called community service.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to pay him, so you wouldn't know he wouldn't know the difference, and there you go.
And Frank was backing him. I'm telling you, David P. Shapiro Law. If they would have called him, maybe he could have turned it into a job.
I wasn't backing him. I brought it up initially as this. Here's a wild story. That's what I brought it up as initially. It's not promoting the guy and not promoting what he was doing. It was just like, hey, this is crazy.
That is crazy. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Vince in Chula Vista. Vince, what's going on, man? Long time no talk.
Absolutely, boys. Happy Friday to you, Braden. I hope everything's good. Frank, you got to own it, man. You were backing this guy up, and I wanted to tell you, I start out, right? I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, so I know all about mass transit, right? So, but Frank, I always wanted to be a cop, right? So I went out, got a uniform, got a gun, and other than the fact that I was impersonating an officer, I got a spotless record. So they should, just go ahead and hire me.
Go for it.
I think
try it.
I think Frank.
See how that works.
You know what? I think is Frank. I think it's your penance. I think, and Braden hit on it. I think you got to go to Balboa Park. I think you got to do the train. But you got to remember, there's that brass ring, right?
Yes.
You got to release that. There's a timing aspect to it, Frank. So when you're creating the content here, you got to get that thing. You got to get that thing right. And I also wanted to say too, I don't know if we still have it here in San Diego, but remember, guys, we used to have those duck boat things that they had.
Yeah.
Right, driving around, and then it goes into the water. What could possibly go wrong with that vehicle? Heck, I don't know. But that may be something you want to look at too, Frank. And the ferry that goes from like Coronado over to the convention.
That's another one. Yep.
That's what I take to get over to Petco. They got a nice little uniform for that too. So, anyway, guys,
God bless you the next time you use it, because I might be the one controlling it.
And I'm done, man. So I'm thinking of my days back in Brooklyn, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I could absolutely see this, where a guy wants to do something. And if you remember the movie, The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, that's in New York, right? And so I'm thinking of that, and I'm just laughing in the car. And not that I would ever think that something to do with the Wienermobile. I had a line for that one too. Like something I never thought I'd hear on this radio station. I heard on that radio station today. You guys absolutely, as I'm fretting over who the fifth starter is going to be, right? And who from the bullpen are we going to give up as trade bait to try to get another bat for the bench kind of thing. You guys come up with this. So it was perfect for a Friday. I hadn't called in a while. Braden, always thank you for letting me chime in a little bit.
Absolutely.
You guys are fantastic. Keep it going. You guys are fantastic. And one other thing, sports related. I do want to give a shout out. My son goes to Auburn, and so their basketball team is turning it around a little bit. You were talking about the Aztecs earlier with Utah State, so I hope they have a good showing there and they win there. As I looked at the bracketology, Auburn was coming in as an 8 seed, and I think they even had them in the West, and San Diego may be an initial site for the first round. I think I got to take more of a look at it. But yeah, college basketball definitely coming up now. Definitely coming up. So great job, guys, as always, and I'll be listening. You take care now.
Appreciate it, Vince. Appreciate the phone call. That was pretty funny. Enjoyed that. I'm glad you brought that up. It was good. San Diego gets the host. Now, the thing with the early rounds, the NCAA tournament, just because San Diego's out west doesn't mean they're going to be in the West region. It just depends on where teams are. The first couple of rounds are like that. So how they determine it is obviously San Diego State cannot play in their own building. That's part of the rules. The West goes through San Jose. The East goes through D.C., the Midwest goes through Chicago, and the South goes through Houston. And then the opening rounds are just dependent on what the high seed is. So Arizona's going to get a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament, even if they drop a couple of games in the Big 12, which they might, but they look almost unbeatable. They're coming to San Diego because they're going to get a 1 seed. And if they don't get a 1 seed, they'll get a 2 seed. And a top 4 seed for Arizona, the closest city in the opening round is San Diego. So they're going to be coming to San Diego. And then from there, they go with the next one. So, it could be a 4 seed. It could be a 2 seed. It could be, it just depends on where teams are at. Right now, the other team that's projected to come here right now is Texas Tech as a 4 seed. And so the latest bracketology from Joe Lenardi, again, it's going to change thousands of times. This is just Joe's opinion. There's a lot of other bracketologists out there that put out, what they can kind of project based on where the NCAA tournament has usually made their bids. But they got St. John's. There you go. There's a New York team for you. St. John's and Liberty as the 5-12 potentially coming here. Texas Tech, UC Irvine as the 4-13 kind of coming here. But at the same time, like Irvine can play at Viejas. I don't think UCSD is allowed to play at Viejas in the opening round of the NCAA tournament. I'm pretty sure that they have to play in a different location. But I don't know how that works because we have 3 D1 schools here in San Diego. The other bracket, Arizona, the 1 seed, Merrimack, the 16, NC State, the 8, St. Mary's, the 9, potentially. You look at San Diego State, they're right now projected to be the 10 seed in the East region, which would be in St. Louis against Villanova and paired with the 2 seed Illinois and the 15 seed Wright State. So how they do it is they basically give the top 16 seeds, which would be all the 1s, all the 2s, all the 3s, and all the 4s. Those teams get to be as close to their city as possible. So you're looking at like Arizona and Texas Tech right now. You're looking at other teams that might be on the West Coast. And then they set where they're going to go, and then they fill out the rest of the bracket, if that makes sense. Like I would imagine Gonzaga might be part of that conversation as well, but they have Gonzaga going to Portland because Portland's probably a little bit better for Gonzaga travel wise than going down to San Diego, right? Mm-hmm. So like if you see Irvine or somebody in the Big West was the top 16 seed, they'd probably be here. I think any Southern California team would probably be here. Like UCLA, USC, if they were a top 16 seed, they'd be coming to San Diego. Arizona is one of those teams, so they're going to be coming here. In terms of Auburn, because Vince asked about it, I don't know, is Auburn in the – they probably are. Right now they have Auburn going to Buffalo as the 7 seed, paired with Miami, Michigan State, and Navy. Again, it's going to change 1,000 of times. But college basketball in full swing right now. In league play, in conference play, and there's a huge game tomorrow for San Diego State. We kind of briefly previewed it earlier, but when we come back, we'll take a deeper dive into San Diego State and Utah State game tomorrow at 10 in the morning Pacific time. So while a lot of us are out there at FanFest, the Aztecs are going to be playing probably one of their biggest games of the year, definitely their biggest game of the year in conference play so far, in what is going to be a hostile environment and a battle for first place. Aztecs lose, they're not in first place anymore. They're going to be tied, and Utah State will have the tiebreaker. So almost a must-win for the Aztecs. But when we come back, everything you need to know about San Diego State, Utah State, as we continue on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego State Sports Station 97 through the Fan. San Diego High School sports, we're officially in that sweet spot right now of the winter season. League races are tightening up, playoff positioning starting to matter, and stars are showing up across every sport, from basketball and soccer to wrestling and water polo. This week reminded us just how deep and competitive the San Diego section really is. Let's give a shout out real quick to all of the San Diego Union Tribune weekly athletes of the week. This week's athletes of the week cover the full spectrum. Eileen Shin of Bishop's Water Polo. She was a flat-out dominant this week. 8 goals on 9 shots to push Bishop's to the top of the Western League. That's efficiency and leadership in a rivalry game. Olivia Deanda, Cathedral Catholic girls soccer player, continues to be a difference maker. She scored in 3 straight wins and now sitting at 10 goals on the season as the Dons surge. Powerful Land, Hoover Wrestling needed just 34 seconds to pin his way to a tournament title at 217 pounds. That's an intimidation right there.
That is a wrestling name is what that is. Powerful Land.
That's right. Gianna Woodson of San Diego High School, girls basketball player, led a key Eastern League win with 24 points. She's a sophomore, but already playing like a closer to a senior. Jalen Williams, San Marcos boys basketball, delivered in the clutch, 20 points in overtime win, then 24 more in a follow-up. That's a senior leading that's a senior leading a playoff-bound team, and Jalen Williams for San Marcos and the Knights. Jaden Ruiz, Granite Hills wrestler, helped knock off a top 10 team in the state. Granite Hills is for real in the wrestling department. And Jennifer Stanyon, Santa Fe Christian girls basketball, stuffed the stat sheet, 39 points, 46 boards, 12 assists in 3 games. That is dominance. A lot of star power throughout high school sports. But let's take a look at the basketball rankings. Frank, take us through the basketball rankings check-in.
So right now, as we sit for boys basketball, Santa Fe Christian remains the standard at number 1. But the real story is the depth. San Marcos is jumping up. Mission Bay dealing with forfeits. Teams like Olympian, Mira Mesa, and Torrey Pines are sitting there lurking. Right now, there's no safe game in the top 10 in boys basketball right now. For the girls side, Francis Parker still leads, but Mater Dei Catholic is at 17-1 and is knocking very, very loudly on the door to try to get to the number 1 spot over Francis Parker. Mission Hills and La Jolla County Day stay consistent, while Cathedral Catholic remains dangerous. This sure is shaping up to be one of the more unpredictable basketball playoff brackets that we've seen in quite some time.
The game we had of the week this week, Tuesday afternoon, non-league, should have been sleepy, but instead it was playoff level intensity, as written by John Maffey in the San Diego Union Tribune. But it's Canyon Hills and Kearney in boys basketball. Canyon Hills survived 60-51 after almost blowing a 12-point lead late. Slade Stevens, 21 points, 9 boards, forced 26 forced turnovers by Canyon Hills. Kearney shows they can play up a division. Both coaches said it best. These are the type of games that prepare you for that March run in high school basketball. As for soccer, Frank, Torrey Pines starting to roll.
Yeah, Torrey Pines is doing really, really well. Boys soccer is quietly becoming a very, very big problem. They are 12-3-1 right now. They had a 5-1 win over Oceanside. Mafong, Week, Leidendorf, I apologize if I messed up any of those names, controlling the matchup. This team looks very, very organized, very, very confident, and built for a deep run into the CIF playoff as we go to the other football, Braden.
Yeah, we have some news in the coaching hires now. A lot of teams are still looking for head coaches in high school football. A lot of big jobs are still available. We know the Mission Hills job is still available. There was a report on who might have applied for the Mission Hills job. A lot of big time names throughout the North County that have been listed. I don't know how much of those have been vetted in terms of like actually being interviewed for the Mission Hills job, but that's one that we will definitely update you on when it comes about. Staying up in the North County, though, Escondido is in a new era. Escondido football turns the page. Ian Kelly now takes over as the head football coach for Escondido. He's just 31 years old. Emphasis on physical football, the run game and line play. And after years of turnover, the question will be stability with Escondido football. With them finding a job, apparently out in the desert, Brawley is now looking for a head coach. The Brawley head coach has stepped down, so another opening spot in the carousel. I do want to mention, Wednesday night, big night in girls soccer, San Marcos hosting Mount Carmel and Tony Gwynn Jr.'s daughter tonight, so on Wednesday night. So that should be a good matchup to look forward to this week as well. That's our high school update. We'll get you more next week. We need a contestant for the Midday Sports Stand-Up. We've qualified, I think, almost everybody this week, right? We've been pretty close.
Right around there, yeah.
Okay. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. If you can Take me down to sports trivia. You'd be qualified for a chance to win our grand prize, 2 tickets to Sammy Hagar at Dolby Live at Park MGM, a 2-night stay at Park MGM Las Vegas, and a $100 gas card. Sammy Hagar returns to Las Vegas with his Best of All Worlds Las Vegas residency. Get ready to rock with your favorite hits from the Van Halen years, Sammy solo hits, and more, only in Las Vegas this March 11th through the 21st and September 18th to the 26th at Dolby Live at Park MGM. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Give us a call and try to take me down in sports trivia. We're looking for a contestant right now. While we're waiting for a contestant, we do want to get into Aztec basketball. Aztecs taking on Utah State on Saturday. San Diego State right now isn't just winning, it's doing it in every possible way. Elite defense, historically efficient shooting, dominant bench production, road toughness, and consistency under Brian Dutcher have the Aztecs positioned as both a Mountain West bully and a nationally relevant team heading into February. But they do have something in the way. It is the Brian Dutcher. It is the Utah State Aggies. This team for San Diego State blends Dutcher-era defensive DNA with one of the most efficient offensive seasons in program history. And the upcoming test is going to be tough. San Diego State travels to Logan, Utah. It's on Big CBS Saturday morning at 10 in the morning Pacific time, a notoriously difficult venue to play in. Aztecs lead the all-time series 20-12, but are just 5-7 in Logan. And game represents this classic style versus style play where it's Aztecs defense against Utah State's pace and shooting. If San Diego State wins in Logan, it further cements them as the clear favorite in the Mountain West. This is what it's for. It's for right now. San Diego State is shooting 48.4% from the field, on pace for its best shooting season in 35 plus years. They've shot 50% or better in 22 of 40 halves, and they are 75-2 in their last 77 games when they shoot more than 50%. They're averaging 80 points per game, which would rank among the best scoring seasons in program history. And it's not just one hot shooter. It's a system-wide efficiency, ball movement, and shot quality for the Aztecs, something we haven't really seen out of San Diego State. They have dominated on the bench, number 2 in the country in bench points, 39.2 per game. Nearly half of the Aztecs scoring, 48.5% of it, comes from the bench. Bench outscores opponents' benches by 20.6 points per game, multiple games with 50 to 60-plus bench points versus Division I teams. This is a big key of what separates the Aztecs from most mid-major contenders. Depth that actually wins basketball games. And we talked about the defense. The defense still elite with Brian Dutcher, okay? It wasn't at the beginning of the season, but they have increased their opportunities. Ken Palm League ranks number 1 in 2-point defense for the Aztecs, turnovers, force, steals, and blocks in the Mountain West Conference, and number 2 in overall defensive efficiency. Under Brian Dutcher, San Diego State is 117-7 when holding opponents under 60 points. Opponents held to a 67.4 points per game over the last 14 games. This team can win shootouts, and they can win grinded-out games. A rare combination. Star power individual highlights for this team. We talk about Miles Bird, historic all-around stat lines this year, one of the most versatile players in the country. He needs to be able to ball out on Saturday for the Aztecs to get a victory. Reese Dixon Waters has surpassed 1,000 career points. He also needs to get out there and have a high day because Magoon Guath is the only player in the nation shooting nearly 58% from 3 and blocking shots. He's going to be out. BJ Davis, rare 20, 10, 5, and 4 game versus Division I opponent. Not a one-star team. This is positionless production for this Aztec team. Top 10 nationally in road and neutral winning percentage since 2009 of the Aztecs. Dominance at UNLV's Thomas and Mack Center from last weekend, of course. Historically absurd numbers in that point. And they're already 4-0 on the road against longtime Mountain West opponents as they are on their farewell tour of the Mountain West. Now, Utah State, not part of the farewell tour. You're going to deal with these guys again in the Pac-12 It sets up for a great game tomorrow morning, and a game that San Diego State doesn't have to win. But if San Diego State wins this game on Saturday, tomorrow, that almost solidifies them being in the NCAA tournament. It gives them a little bit more leeway. It gives them a little bit more area for error going into the rest of this Mountain West Conference basketball season and into the Mountain West Conference tournament. You don't want to have a bad weekend in Vegas hurt your chances for March. But with a win tomorrow, that could basically eliminate it. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. If we want to join us and try to take me down in sports trivia, I think we have a contestant, do we not, Frank? We do. Let's get to the midday sports standoff. All right, Frank, who we got playing today?
We have Derek in Claremont today. Derek, how are you doing today, bud?
Derek, are you there?
Took a second before. Derek, hello? Oh, nope, there he goes.
Let's see if we got, maybe we got one there.
Let's see if...
Give us a call. You might have a chance. Jump in. Try to win a trip to Vegas.
See if he calls back.
Our contestant has fallen off. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. I want to know how Harleen Susana gets smoked today on the show. What kind of strays is he going to get? Do we got a contestant?
Derek is back.
Derek's back.
Derek, are you there this time?
I am sorry. I hit my knee with the mute button with my knee, guys. I apologize.
You're all good. You are all good. All right. So today it's Friday. It's a chill day. Question today is, who are the 8 teams that won their respective divisions in the NFL this season? Derek, you have the first pick.
Let's go first pick. Frisco.
San Francisco did not win the NFC North this year, or the NFC West this year.
The Seattle Seahawks won the NFC West this year.
That they did.
Shout out to Michael Cowell's Seattle Seahawks.
Derek, go ahead.
Denver.
Yep, that's
Denver
good guess.
won the AFC West.
Well, let's just keep it out west. Or no, we had both west. Never mind. They're both in the
Go Aztecs. You really? We're really calling me out for a softball question here? Come on, dude. Really? It's a last day to get people qualified for Vegas.
Carolina won the South.
Carolina won the South. Yes. All right, Derek, go ahead. Next question. Next pick.
Having brain cramp here, fellas.
Think of all the teams that made the playoffs. Most of them are bound to have won the division.
8 of the 12 won the division, or the 13, whatever it is. 14 teams that make it. Oh, I need an answer, man.
Yeah, we're coming up.
Sorry, guys.
All right, we'll give you a little bit more time here. Braden, go ahead.
The Jaguars won the other South. They won the AFC South. So we have both West and both South taken. So we're looking for the 2 North division winners and the 2 East division winners. Maybe that will spark Derek.
Yeah, the Patriots.
There you go.
There we go.
Back now.
They won the East.
We're still alive here. Braden?
Philadelphia won the other East.
They did. All right. So
Braden now has 4, which means you're still available for a tie. But if he gets the next one right, or if you get the next one wrong here, it's more or less, it will be over because you have 2 strikes on you.
Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Pittsburgh did win it. So now we are hoping to see if Braden gets the next one wrong here.
The last one is the NFC North champion.
Yes, it is.
The Bears. The Chicago Bears. The Bears.
The Bears.
Yeah, that is it. That is 5 for Braden, 3 for Derek. So, Derek, unfortunately, you do not get qualified for the chance to go to Vegas, which means we have done all of our qualifying since we're not going to be doing it. We shouldn't be doing it tomorrow.
No, we're not doing any.
No, so, yeah, that means all of our qualifiers for January are done.
Sometimes it's like, yeah, it should be done. We'll find out what the new deal is. But to everybody that's participated, good luck. Still waiting for my New Kids on the Block winner email. It's probably not coming if that's the case.
Sorry.
Who knows? I don't know. Did they send it out? I don't know if we got confirmation on that or not. Anyway, should be a fun time at FanFest tomorrow. Looking forward to it. So, the 8 division winners this year in the NFL were?
That would have been the Patriots.
Correct.
Steelers.
Yep.
The Broncos.
Mhm.
The Jags in the AFC. And the NFC would have been the Eagles. The
E-L-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
The Bears.
The Bears.
You didn't play the sounder for the Denver Broncos.
Sorry, my bad.
Oh, the Denver Broncos. Too bad the Colts didn't win the division. We could have had like a clean sweep.
Yeah,
we were on a good roll with drops for certain teams, having some very successful seasons. Yeah, exactly, Goaz. You play that without the Broncos?
I didn't think to do it until then. My thought was, make fun of the Eagles, and then I just went with it.
It's always about you, isn't it?
Yes, it is. When I'm the one pushing the buttons, it's about me.
Frank, big make it about me guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Make it about me. Do you have a Farmers Insurance Open leaderboard for me?
I can here in just a second.
Play the Masters music in the background.
I don't have that, unfortunately. All the stuff I don't have. That's one of the many things I don't have.
Jeez, Justin Rose is now 15 under.
Yeah, he something tells me that
the weather is helping.
Well, that or his day on the North Course yesterday wasn't a fluke. So Rose currently through 11, he is 5 under for today, 15 under par. Period. Seamus Powers currently sitting at 10 under. He is 3 under on the day, on the 13th right now. Justin Lower is also 10 under. He is through 9. He is 1 under on the day. Siwoo Kim currently sitting in 4th place. He is 19. He has gone up 19 spots on the leaderboard. He is 5 under through 8. 9 under total for the tournament. Looking through some of these names, Hideki Matsuyama, who had a hot start to the day, has really turned it around for the negative. He is 1 over par, 7 under for the tournament. Down in 11th, Grazerman is 2 over par today. It's 6 under. He's tied for 16th. Looking through, Adam Scott is 1 under on the day. He is 5 under par. Tied for 23rd. Looking through for some of the bigger names.
JJ Spawn is not doing so well. Local product JJ Spawn from San Diego State was, I think, 1 under today, but that puts him at tied for 116th. He's 1 under through 7. He's +2 for the tournament.
Brooks Koepka's 3 under today through 8. He's 2 under par overall. Tied for 61st at the moment.
I got to see where the projected cut is. They said somewhere in the top 64-ish. I mean, they usually have the cut should start. Projected cut should start showing up on some of these leaderboards. Projected cut is going to be right now is 2 under. So you got to be.
Schauffele's 1 under at the moment. He's 2 under on the day. He's 1 under total.
him, the reigning champion. Harris English is 1 under. I mean, these are guys that are going to have to turn it around here and get things going. Now, Shoffley and English are both through 7 today, so they have time to make it up. It looks like the projected cut as of right now is going to be 2 under, so English and Shoffley are a stroke behind that and at risk of getting cut right now. It looks like Patrick Cantley's on pace, Tony Finau, Jason Day. Did you say Brooks Koepka just barely making the cut right now? But, man, is Justin Rose just kicking ass today. 5 under today, through 11, 15 under for the tournament.
4 under now. He actually just bogeyed.
Oh, South Course fighting back a
South
little
Course
bit.
getting them at the 12.
That's right. South Course, you had me the first half, not gonna lie. When we come back, we'll talk about what's going on with the Padres today. Hey. This week at University of San Diego. If you missed anything that we have said already, if you're driving around, we're talking about the promotional giveaways for the Padres here in 2026. If you want to check out the website, or you could get this, is padres.com/giveaways, and it'll have the whole list. And again, if you want to buy tickets to these games, you could start going. The single game tickets are on sale on Tuesday, February 3rd at 10 in the morning. That's the first chance that you have. Obviously, season ticket memberships have priority to do that. As we move along, we got the patriotic Aloha shirt for the day after Memorial Day. I think May 26th. So it's a Tuesday. Maybe it's coming before, but celebrate America's upcoming 250th birthday with the Padres theme patriotic Aloha shirt. Pretty nice. Got the Blue Angels on there. It's got the Padres logo. It's got the Padres military logo on a baseball. Nice little Hawaiian shirt, patriotic, against the Phillies on May 26th. Coming up on Tuesday, June 9th against the Reds. Bogey goes boom bobblehead. You got a Xander Bogaerts finishing his home run swing with his signature gray and maroon bat. So that's pretty cool bobblehead as well. It's presented by Palomar Specialty Insurance on June 9th. So Bogaerts has a bobblehead on Tuesday, June 9th. Coming up on Monday, June 22nd against the Atlanta Braves. Got the Western snapback hat. Kind of looks like a rodeo hat. It's pretty cool looking. It's got San Diego Padres in the Western font, if you will, or San Diego Padres written in Western font with the SD logo in the middle. Pretty cool looking hat right there. That's presented by Petco. First 40,000 fans in attendance will have that one. Again, all of these are for the first 40,000 fans for these, unless I say otherwise. Wednesday, July 8th, Trevor Hoffman bobblehead. He's repping the navy blue 1998 gear. Honor the Hall of Famer and Padres legendary closer with the Trevor Hoffman bobblehead. Presented by Canels. This bobblehead limited the first 40,000 fans, so it's in stride. Trevor Hoffman, kind of a classic look at bobblehead against the Diamondbacks in July. On July 12th, just for the kids, they have the Squeeze Top water bottle, which is a kids giveaway. I don't know if they have that here today because it's a kids giveaway. Again, some of these are for the first 40,000 fans. Some of them are for the first 10,000 fans. It's a kind of little water bottle for kids 14 and under. It looks like an ice cream sundae, which is pretty cool. Tuesday, July 28th. I know a lot of you guys love this one. It's presented by Soapy Joe's The Poncho. Got the San Diego Padres poncho. Looks pretty nice. I like it. I'm sure you'll see a lot of you guys repping that out there at Padre games. That's on July 28th. Bucket hats. Everybody loves the bucket hat. You got a reversible bucket hat, which you have multiple looks for. You have the Padres white home uniform version. You also have the sand away version as well with the swinging friar on it. Multiple looks. Home and away bucket hat will be Thursday, July 30th against the Giants. A 6:40 start, first 40,000 fans. Coming up on August 10th, a superhero pocket tee presented by San Diego Community Power, which is pretty cool. Usually right after the Comic-Con road trip that the Padres have to go on. So a little bit of a superhero t-shirt. Pretty good front and back. It's got that front pocket. Small logo in the front, big logo in the back. It's good style for a t-shirt, let me tell you. Coming up on Sunday, August 23rd, it's another kids giveaway. You can check that on the website. Monday, August 24th, the next day against the Pirates, you got the Jackson Merrill robbery bobblehead. So it's Jackson Merrill robbing a home run with the blue fence right there in his home uniform. It's a pretty cool looking bobblehead. And then this is the best one. You thought you were going to give away. You thought you were going to get a secret. You thought you were going to get a secret. You thought you were going to find out about the City Connect uniforms. Well, we have the bobblehead for the City Connect uniforms. It just hasn't been painted yet. They're not going to display that until the new City Connect uniforms are out. But they have the Fernando Tatis City Connect bobblehead presented by Big Bully Turf. That will be on Tuesday, September 8th against the Washington Nationals. Dressed in the Padres City Connect 2.0, the Tatis City Connect bobblehead presented by Big Bully Turf channels Nando's flair at the plate, limited to the first 40,000 fans in attendance. Dynamic details of this bobblehead will make it a centerpiece for your collectibles. Again, we don't know what the City Connect uniforms are yet, but that is what that will look like. 1 o'clock on the Fan means only one thing. It is time, Frank. You know what it's time for?
It's time to take a train ride.
Time for you to steal a Subway and not the sandwich.
It's time for me to practice with the Wienermobile.
That's right. If I'm going to hijack anything, do you have that drop already?
I got to get it ready again here. Folks, you will be hearing this in a new open at some point here. If I am here to hijack anything, it is the Wienermobile.
There it is. I love it. A picture of you driving the Wienermobile at the they need a Wienermobile street race at NASCAR in Coronado this year.
Yes, they do. Again,
Get
I'm there to
sponsor.
win. I don't care. I don't care about entertainment.
Let Frank be the celebrity driver. See how good of a driver he is, not just virtually. All right. Aside from that, what is it actually time for? It is time for today's biggest fan. Ryan Gabrantina in National City. Ryan Gabrantina in National City. You are today's biggest fan. Give us a call within the next 10 minutes at 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973, and you'll qualify for our grand prize, 20 tickets for you and your friends for a night in our Odyssey Suite at a Padres game with all the fan staff later this season. Catered by Spiro's Mediterranean Cuisine. Remember to register your name at 973thefansd.com/biggest fan. Ryan Gabrantina, National City. Gabrantina. Gabrantina. Ryan. National City. Give us a call. You got 10 minutes. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Way to go, Ryan. Nate. Juan. Still saying fake name. Go Aztecs, a.k.a. James. Creative name generator. Awful.
It's funny that same energy isn't kept up when they do get called. Like I haven't seen Jocelyn shout fake name.
All of a sudden, it's no longer fake names. Now they're like they believe in the names. All of a sudden.
Jake Waters,
I guess you got to mix in some real names just to keep them honest, like Jake Waters.
Yeah, apparently this morning.
Yeah, congratulations to Jake. Love it. All right, let's get to, do you have that sound ready to go?
I do, yes.
We're having Joe Musgrove on tomorrow, and Sam decided to ask him all the questions we were going to ask him tomorrow. So, yeah. I guess you get the interview today instead. Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it. Just kidding. We got some other stuff, of course. Joe Musgrove they're doing a lot of community work today throughout San Diego. The Padres are. He's out there. Jackson Merrill. We saw Fernando Tatis Jr. Walking around, and they're doing a bunch of community involvement things today on the Padres community tour. So they're out and about throughout San Diego, doing a lot of great things in San Diego. And Sam Levitt had the time to catch up with Joe Musgrove. It's posted on our 97 Through the Fan Twitter page, but he asked Joe Musgrove about his return to the mound, this year's preseason Camp 44, and some of the group's beach workouts that have been seen on social media. Here's what Joe Musgrove had to say as kind of like his offseason recap going into the season.
What are the emotions as you lead up to not only spring training, but ultimately your return?
Yeah, really good. Doing Camp 44 this week and getting everybody back together kind of reignites all the juices and kind of reminds you how close we are to getting this thing going. For me personally, just being on the sidelines and, trying to involve myself in a different aspect over the last year has been it's been really good for me. It's shown me a new side of myself and developed other sides of my game. But I'm more excited than anything just to get back on the field and have a chance to compete. So, really exciting time for me.
Camp 44 in particular is something you started a few years ago. How's it been this time around?
Really good this time. I think we got our group size right. In the past it's been, heavy on the head count of people, and it gets a little difficult and it becomes very structured. So I think this time we had a great number of people, and we're able to get everything in the week, a couple times at the lab, a couple times at the field. We did a beach day, boat day. So just a really fun week all around and impactful week full of work.
I do have to ask you about the beach day because videos were circulating on social media. You see Nando running towards the water, racing. What was how did that come about, the beach day in particular?
Yeah, that's something that we do every Wednesday in the off season with my gym that we run, Symbiotic. You pay a lot to live in San Diego, so we make it a point to get outside and spend a day out there working out on the beach. And it's usually midweek, so the Wednesdays are kind of like recovery days where more movement based, a little bit of running around, but we try to make it a fun day and not too strenuous on the body. And then everyone jump in the water after and kind of rinse and reset yourself for the rest of the week. But something we've done for a while, so bringing the guys out here, I wanted to show them a little bit of what we do in the off season and a good break to get out of the field and out of the same setting and get a new change of scenery.
It's good to see. It's good to check in on Joe. Sounds like he's doing really well. I like the I love the team bonding stuff that the Padres decide to do. Now, maybe a lot of other teams are doing this as well, as they just not on social media, but it's cool to see a lot of the stars coming back to San Diego early, getting some workouts in, working out as a team before they do it officially at spring training and when pitchers and catchers are bored. I think this is a real sign that the team is a close, tight together group, and also a team that's built for success this season. And a team that, these are the type of teams that usually do very well in the season. And I think with the way that they've been able to do this and the way that they have done the Camp 44, I think it honestly leads to a lot of these guys showing up to spring training early to get the work in. And that's what you want to see out of your Major League Baseball team. Guys that really want to win, guys that are there, to win a World Series and think about it from an outside perspective and not just centrally on what they could do for themselves. I like this. I love the way that they have done Camp 44. I think Joe Musgrove's done a great job since he came over to the Padres and being a leader from a starting pitching spot and being a leader, even though last year he wasn't able to play on the field with all of his teammates.
Yeah, absolutely. And it also sounds like they kind of figured out some of the issues that they had last year and are trying to work those out. And it's great to see that extracurricular team bonding, especially out in public too. I mean, we hear, oh yeah, we're great, we're tight-knit group off the field and all this stuff. You never really see any of that. And now to be able to see it the way we have with the beach stuff, and now today the Padres Community Day, getting that outreach, and then of course Fan Fest tomorrow. It's very nice to see these guys out publicly, not worrying about, oh, is someone snapping a picture, us being a cohesive, gelled together group like possibly they weren't last year.
Yeah, I think every year they have been more of a gelled group than they were like when they first started here. Like in 2018, 2019, I think you've seen them go through some growing pains. But I think that's a major benefit to the Padres having these guys on long-term contracts. Like the downside, obviously, is you're going to have aging veterans. You already have some aging veterans that are making a lot of money, all as part of your team. But I think there's something to be said about a core group of guys that have played alongside each other for so long now that I think that plays a big role in chemistry in Major League Baseball. I think it plays a big role for baseball in general when you have a team that you're familiar with and you have a group that you're familiar with. And sure, you add a piece here and there, but I think that really sets the tone for what the new era of Padres baseball could be. I think, and again, when talking about Padres baseball, before this new ownership group took over and before the AJ Preller era and before all of this, they had no identity. This is an organization that had zero identity. They were just kind of here. And you could talk about the 1990s where they won the division in 96 and they won the division in 98. And, that was kind of there, but they were just kind of a team here in San Diego. It was an old PCL team that they upgraded to the major league level. They took their licks in the, late 60s because they started in 69, took their licks for most of the 70s. They got finally, into a division winner spot in 1984, went to the World Series, came up short. Then kind of fell off a little bit and then got back to it again in the, really the mid 90s. But they were a team that was one of the worst teams record-wise in Major League Baseball as an organization from start to finish. They have just recently climbed the way out of it. And aside from the ballpark being built, because you have to realize something when it comes to the Padres and their success. They started getting good in the 90s because the ownership at the time wanted a brand new stadium. Was it Prop C back then? Is that what it was? I can't remember. I mean, I was an infant, so I don't remember off the top of my head. But I do know that the team got good around the time they needed a vote to get Petco Park built because they wanted a new stadium. And when you want a new stadium, you usually put a lot of money into your organization. And so they did that, and they made the World Series in 98. And then they're building the stadium, right? And they cut everything back down. It's like, all right, well, we got the stadium, we got what we needed, but we got to get some juice going into Petco Park. And what did they do? In 2004, they loaded up on their team again, and they spent some money, and they put a good team together, and they won the division in 04 and 05 or 05 and 06. I get them all confused. And then 05 and 06, and then they came up just short in 07 on the whole on the whole situation with Matt Holliday. And then after that, I mean, they were just a team with no identity. And then the Seidler family comes in with Ron Fowler, and it took them a little bit of time, but they brought in AJ Preller, and they finally gave this team an identity, and they finally set the real building blocks of this franchise. Because if you think about it from the overall standpoint of Padres history before this ownership group, aside from them trying to build Petco Park, they were never good. They had the 1 year in the 80s. And that was it. And then it was, let's build the team to get a stadium built. And then let's make sure the first couple of years in the stadium, they're good so people show up to the games. And that was it. I mean, before this ownership group took this team up, they had been to the playoffs 5 times. They won 5 division titles. That's it in 50 years. And then since then, they have made the playoffs 4 times since 2020 and 3 out of the last 4. And it's starting with this group. I think this is the building blocks of the organization for the future. I think Peter Seidler came in and he built this foundation. And when everybody freaks out about window of opportunity and window to win, and it's like the window is closing and all this other stuff because you have aging veterans, I don't think that's the case. I think this is the start of the future for the Padres. You don't always just turn things around and win, but what this ownership group had done, and the current one, as the team is being put up for sale, they came in and they resurrected a franchise that really was a rudderless ship and had no direction. And now, being the only show in town, yes, there's San Diego FC and everything like that, but now not having to compete with the NFL and being San Diego's team, the building blocks are there for whoever takes over this organization to make this organization into a perennial winner year in and year out. Yes, they haven't won a World Series yet, but you know what? They had done something that they had never been able to do in their history, and that was make the playoffs 3 out of 4 years in a row by making the wild card. in 24, 25, 22, 2020, being able to make the NLCS for the third time ever. That comes with the building blocks of this team and of setting the identity of what this team could be. And I think that the players that they have had and signing guys to long-term contracts, it builds fans for life. It now is let the children of San Diego root for a team here in San Diego instead of, and I've done this speech before, I've done this spiel before, but when I was growing up in San Diego, rooting for the Padres, that was, again, a rudderless ship before this ownership group took over, you had a brand new team almost every single year. Who do you get behind? And a lot of kids growing up, when you did jersey days and everything like that, would support other teams. It would rep other organizations. And now you go around San Diego and everybody's wearing Padres stuff. It's great to see. That's the benefit of these long-term contracts. It's that and these guys having now that camaraderie and playing together as a team and knowing that this is the group and having a tight-knit group. And I think that's going to pay dividends here in the next handful of years. And the unfortunate thing, obviously, is where everything's at in Major League Baseball. Unfortunately, the team in your division can spend more money than everybody else in Major League Baseball, and there's a lot of loopholes that are affecting it. But I think that gets changed at the end of this season, at the end of 2026 with a new collective bargaining agreement. But I look at this franchise, Frank, and I look at what this organization has been able to do, what this ownership group's been able to do in building this team, and now the team picking that, the players themselves taking that kind of foundation and building off of it with these things like Camp 44. And you couldn't pick a better person to do that than somebody from San Diego like Joe Musgrove. I think this is the building blocks of a future positive history of Padres baseball, not this is a small window for the Padres to win before they go back in the past of what they really were.
No, I think you've firmly built an identity now, and there are players that are here long enough, like Fernando and like Manny, and Jackson Merrill will be here for quite some time, that they're going to see a number of players come through and they're going to teach them this way, the way that they're doing it now. They're going to, the next players that come in, whether they be traded, whether they be free agents, whether they be draft picks, good luck on that last one, they're going to come up and immediately be brought into this new way, this new style of Padre baseball. It's not going to be in the middle of a culture shift. It's not going to be in the middle of trying to work out your identity. They know what they are. They know what they want to be. They know where they want to go. They figured all that stuff out, and now it's just getting behind it and expanding it for the players that come into this team in the future.
Yeah, I mean, how many times did you see like players would come in and there would be no identity?
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, well, we did this in Boston. We did this in LA. We did this in New York. Like, maybe we should do this. And there's too many. There wasn't a central unit of what it takes to be a Padre. I talked about this 3 or 4 years ago, what they needed to do. And the Padres have done it themselves. And the players have done it themselves. And they have created a form of, this is what Padres baseball is going to be. I love the community involvement. I love the way that they have been able to build into San Diego. I like the fact that a lot of these guys stay in San Diego as well. Not all of them. I mean, they don't have to live here. I think for a lot of tax reasons, you should, as an athlete, probably set yourself up the best to live in other places. But a lot of them starting roots here in San Diego is really cool to see. And I love how much they love representing the city and you fans out there in the city of San Diego. And I think we get to see that tomorrow at FanFest. We got to take a break.
I was just going to say that's a lot to do with you fans as well. You guys have made Major League Baseball the NFL here. That is all on you guys. And and the team has embraced it.
We need to take a break. When we come back, we are going to talk about some of the things that came out in college football over a week ago and how one piece of information seemed to have slipped under the rug or seemed to have missed a lot of people in the sport. And people that were at this meeting didn't even know that this was a rule. We'll talk about it next on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego State Sports Station 97 through the Fan. San Diego State continues to sit alone atop the Mountain West at 14-5 overall going into this week, 8-1 in conference. But this week is where the margin of error shrinks. Wednesday night, the Aztecs host Colorado State, a team who's 3-6 in the conference record, who's very misleading, by the way. It's a very good basketball team. Rams are finally healthy. They space the floor. They shoot the lights out. Number 2 in the nation in three-point percentage of 41.3%. Over the last 3 games, they're nearly 49% from deep, making more than 11 threes per game. That's important because that is the exact type of team that usually gives San Diego State problems. So going into Wednesday's game, that's a very tough competition for San Diego State. But we want to focus a little bit more about this weekend. It's a big game for San Diego State against Utah State in men's basketball. And when you look at this matchup, this is the best chance that San Diego State has at getting a quad 1 win.
Yeah, absolutely. And San Diego State has the ability. We've seen them go in and at least play close games against conference rivals in tough places such as Grand Canyon a couple of weeks ago. May not have gotten the results you wanted to get, but certainly able to play in that atmosphere and be able to compete with Grand Canyon. Now, to go to Utah State, they had just gotten beaten in Grand Canyon right before San Diego State had gotten there. So both of those teams struggling in that atmosphere. Going now to Utah State, this is a great opportunity for the Aztecs to be able to separate themselves a little bit from the pack in the Mountain West, something that the football team wasn't able to do.
Yeah, this is a very important stretch for San Diego State. They are 47 right now in the net rankings. They're 13-5 overall in terms of games that counted towards their resume. They're 8-2 in their last 10. And as I mentioned before, 47 in the net, 36 in the RPI. They are 32 in the ELO rankings. And then when it comes to the rest of their kind of, team sheet, when it comes to Ken Palm and all that fun stuff, the Aztecs right now have a pretty impressive resume, but they could still use a couple of marquee wins. They got to be able to beat Utah State in one of these 2 games. Now, Utah State's going to be a quad 1 opponent, both at home and on the road. Unfortunately for the Aztecs, they got to take them on the road here. And when you look at the way that the Aztec schedule plays out in terms of March Madness and potential resume where they don't have to win the Mountain West Conference tournament, it's going to be you have to split on the road with Utah State and New Mexico. They're both going to be quad 1 games. Now, Boise State is another team later in the year that might be able to play themselves into the top 75. You have to go to Boise State and get a victory there as well. But that's another quad 1 game. If you're San Diego State, you can't miss on quad 1 opportunities for the men's basketball team if you want to feel comfortable going into Selection Sunday and not having to worry about getting hot in a weekend in Vegas. And to me, that starts with Miles Bird. Miles Bird really has to put the team on his back in these next couple of games, and especially with Magoon Guath being out. And here's the deal. Magoon Guath being out is a problem, but not that big of a problem because he was coming back from injury. He's already missed a significant amount of time, but this is Miles Bird's biggest opportunity to take over, be the scorer for San Diego State. We see him play emotionally, and it affects his offensive game, but defensively, it definitely makes him a lot better. He's done a lot of great things on defense, but now the Aztecs need him to really step up and be that player, be that number 1 player on this team, and let the supporting cast help Miles Bird be that player that he wants to be, that NBA rising star that he thinks he is, that a lot of us have seen and see the potential of him becoming.
Yeah, absolutely. And he is going to be the engine that drives this team right now. Where Miles Bird goes, San Diego State basketball is going to go. And remember, right now, you're seeing a lot of projections for San Diego State. You're seeing them around 11th place in whichever region they're going to be. That's partly because they're leading the conference right now. If they do start to tumble, if they do start to fall, they're not going to stay there. The Mountain West very well could be a 1-bid league this year. So you have to get these big wins, preferably on the road, because they do impact a little bit more. But San Diego State really has to buckle down here for the end of this conference schedule.
There's a lot of tough games for San Diego State coming forward that don't give them a big reward in terms of a resume. But while the men are navigating some landmines, the women flat out imposing their will. 16-3 overall, 10-0 in conference play. Aztecs pulled off one of the grittiest wins you'll see all season, a 46-44 victory at Colorado State that happened during our show.
Yes.
On Wednesday. They went 0 for 12 from 3, scored the fewest points in a win in program history, still found a way to win with defense and rebounding, and an impressive start to conference play for the Aztecs women's team. They are looking like a team that could be built for March. But that's it for our update. San Diego State Aztecs update. We'll get you back next week. All right, I figured out how to do something else on YouTube now. I feel so old trying to figure this stuff out.
He's learning, guys.
The apparently GIFs are now. I don't know what supers and GIFs are, but you can do that on our page now. That's cool. Supers and GIFs.
Super chats, I know.
Yeah, that wasn't allowed, I guess.
Oh,
now it is. Now
go.
you can super chat. I don't know what that means.
Which that's paying to.
Oh, nice! You can
highlight
actually do that on our page now, which is
Yes.
great. And you can also give gifts, I guess. Give us gifts.
Oh, gifts! I thought you were
No, not like the little
were-
graphic, like
Yeah,
an
I thought
actual.
you
Here's
were
a
mi-
present.
I thought you were pronouncing GIFs.
No, gifts.
It's GIFs.
GIFTS.
Yeah, that's
No gifts for you.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't expect any because
Yeah, because you think I'm mispronouncing GIFs.
yeah,
It's a gift.
gift.
There's also what's a super sticker?
I have no idea.
There's super stickers too, according to one. I don't know what those are. But you know what? We take them now. We got it. That's all I got to say. So we accept. We accept all stickers and super stickers and gifts and all that fun stuff. Thank you very much. We appreciate all of you that have done that. I'm going to learn more about YouTube. Like, oh, wow. Super sticker.
Hey, Buzz.
Look at Nate. Thank you, Nate. Super sticker.
Oh, you can see in the chat what the super sticker is. It's a number one. It's a pair as a number one fan.
Oh, that's cool. You could say, oh, what chat? The YouTube chat? Like actually on
Yeah,
YouTube?
on the YouTube chat. Yeah.
Interesting.
I wasn't
Wow.
expecting it.
The wow wasn't necessarily for Nate. It was the fact that the super stickers are $10.
Well, I guess I don't know. You know what? These guys are locked in. They understand the YouTube stuff. I don't understand it, but you know what? I'm starting to get it now. Super stick. You got to come. You know what? You said you had somebody that can make membership badges.
Yeah. Oh, well, I know people who know people. Yes.
You know people that know people. What are you,
Yes.
mob?
Again,
Do you know people that?
stop asking questions.
Do you know people that? You obviously know people that hijack subways. Apparently.
No, I know of people
Ah,
that.
Hmm. Gotcha. That's what it is. Thank you for the super sticker.
Yeah, that's a mustache.
Is that? I gotta go. Look
Right
at
as
the
we're talking,
I gotta
right
look
as
at the
we're
chat
talking about
now.
me being. Oh, he's advocating for the
there's
stash
the
to come back.
Stickers. Oh, I'm on the StreamYard and I don't. It's just
Yeah, no, we
random
can't
things.
see
I
on
can't
this.
see it. But on the actual chat, that's kind of cool. There's
Oh
like
God,
stickers.
yeah. Oh yeah, there they are. See that?
Yeah. You do know all about trained thieves, apparently. Anyway, we
Oh my
appreciate it.
God, please.
Engage with your audience. Oh, look, I could do
I'm
Q&A.
not doing- I'm
members
not
only live stream. You could. Oh, look at this. This is fun.
I'm not doing this as a bit. Please, for the love of it all, do not spend $50 on a virtual sticker. I'm being serious about that. Do not spend $50 on a virtual sticker.
Okay.
Well, no, there are some here for $50.
How do you
Don't do that.
Show your support. Super sticker, super chat, membership giving. Super stickers. Oh my God. People, that's crazy. Look at all these.
It would be very appreciated, but please, there are better places to spend your money. Do not spend $50.
Hey, you know what? This
on
is
a
like
super
when
sticker.
somebody asked, you know what? When they told you to upgrade the first class and somebody was willing to do it, now you have to accept it because now they're just going to do it for you. Yeah, buy
Again,
yourself
that-
something nice.
And again, that wasn't one of those, hey, don't do this, guys. Wink, wink. That was a genuine, please don't do this.
Are we going to have that on Ben and Woods on Monday?
What?
The don't do this of you
Oh,
telling these guys?
I guess so, huh?
I mean, whatever. I get this. This is kind of interesting. I'm
We've
going to play
listened so
around with
far.
this. This is kind of cool. I like this. Yeah. I'm good at spending other people's money, Frank. I don't know why you're not.
I want to get value from my money.
I'm telling you, Frank is the guy that steals trains and drives them around for free to help the city. If I see a bigger mark for Ben or Frank or Scraby, If I see Frank driving a trolley, he probably didn't get hired by MTS. He found a way to pilot it himself, and he's just doing a nice thing.
All I can think of now is the Grand Tour episode. There's, the Grand Tour?
No.
It was an Amazon. It's an Amazon Prime show with James May, Jeremy Clarkson, and Richard Hammond, the old Top Gear UK guys. They were at a train yard, and Clarkson and Hammond are sitting there going, James May is going to be so happy right now. And then all you see is May go past on a shunter train. He just shouts, guys, I'm on a shunter. This is awesome. Like he just goes driving past, and they both left laughing at him. It's like that's the only thing I see right now when you say that.
I wanted to get into this. We might have to get into it next week. I wanted to get into the.
We have Drake Hills.
We have Drake coming up soon. Drake's not as psyched about Oregon basketball as he is Oregon football. They're getting bodied right now in the Big Ten for basketball, which is unfortunately not helping the Aztecs, because that's kind of like their. Do you know the Aztecs' best win non-conference is Utah Valley? Do you know that's their best non-conference win?
Boy, oh boy!
I'm sure that's not going to look that great on a resume, but at least they got some of the Mountain West wins in there. But what's more, that or the fact that, they beat Oregon. Oregon is not better than Utah Valley when it comes to like resume builder. I'm going to have to ask Drake about that a little bit. We'll talk about this more next week, but I guess so what happened was the college football playoff sticking at 12 teams in 2026. And apparently all 10 conference commissioners and Notre Dame preferred playoff expansion. The college football playoff will remain at 12 teams in 2026. College football playoff's official explanation is that another year of evaluation is needed. But the reality was everybody was willing to expand the playoff, but the Big Ten and the SEC got into a who's bigger match, and they just both took their ball and went home.
It was done.
It's like you could have.
It was approved.
They all wanted new stuff.
Even Notre Dame opted into this.
And it was the Big Ten. But you have to keep track. Like Jake had his comments on there, right, about the TV contracts, and the TV companies are the puppets of this. They're the puppet masters of this, right? It's not. I totally believe the whole. If the college football playoff expands more than 16 teams, all of a sudden the TV contract gets changed. And I could see why the SEC would be against that, knowing that their only partner is ESPN, who currently has the contract. And I could see why the Big Ten would be pushing for 24 teams, because nobody's going to push for an 18-team playoff, right? 24 is the next step. Yeah. But it's the one over the 16 to open up the books for their TV partners, which are Fox and CBS. And of course, Notre Dame's probably on board because they have their own TV partner, NBC, who probably wants to get involved with the college football playoff somehow as well. And now you have TV pulling all the strings and basically ruining college football. Now, I'm a big advocate for the 2014 playoff. We could talk about that next week. It's a very evergreen segment. There's more details to that I want to get into. Hopefully, we'll have some information of the Pac-12 meetings this week. Doesn't sound like you're getting a football schedule anytime soon. Oh, and by the way, doesn't sound like a lot of bull tie-ins that you used to have are coming back to the Power Act 12. Sun Bowl doesn't really want to be a part of it. Sounds like they were going to start a bull game in Denver. That fell through on sponsorship and TV contracts. So a lot of the bowl games that the Pac-12 had traditional tie-ins to, doesn't sound like the Bulls really wanted the new Pac-12. It sounds like they kind of wanted the teams that are no longer in the Pac-12. We'll talk about that next week. But we have soccer back next week. San Diego FC is back, and so we got Drake back in the house. And when we come back from break, we will talk to Drake Hills on San Diego's number one sports station, 97 through the Fan. San Diego Gulls are right in the middle of a Pacific Division playoff race, and this past week perfectly summed up who they are right now. fast starts, gritty road wins, and some real questions offensively when things tighten up. Had a big win at Tucson last week. They won 5-3, a statement road win over a direct division rival. Goals swept all 4 road games versus Tucson this season. First time since 2016 and 2017 that they were able to do that. Improved to 18-12-6-2 overall and 10-4-4 on the road. Justin Bailey had a big game. He had a goal, 143 in, team leading 14th of the season, and assists for his 300th career AHL point. Jan Mysak, 2 goals, including the game winner. Now 8 of his 9 goals have come on the road. Sasha had a team leading 20 assists, 29 points overall, quietly driving the offense. And net front identity, McClavin stressed in post-game, goals within 5 feet, numbers to the crease. So goaltending, Callie Klang, 27 saves, 3rd straight win, calm, efficient, not scrambling. So you look at the way that they could play on the road, the goals are very, very good in that particular aspect. But you got to look back at what happened against Abbotsford. Even though they had a couple of good games against them not too long ago, a little bit of a reality check in their last game. They got swept by the Canucks, who are the worst team in the Pacific Division, shut out 4-0 in the finale despite 30 shots. Power play went 0 for 7 across the series, and the offense dried up. Win space disappeared. It's a very young team, Frank, but it's a team that's still trying to figure out how to win on a daily basis, and the power play has been a big problem for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something we talked about with Matt McIlvain when we had him on right at the beginning of their season, was there are a lot of young, good players here, and these guys are going to get the time to develop now because the Anaheim Ducks are as good as they are. So these younger players aren't going up and learning on the job effectively up in the NHL. They're getting that chance to learn down here in San Diego, and you're seeing that growth with how good they have been. But yeah, that back-to-back against Abbotsford really, really highlighted a couple of big issues. I believe he said they went 0 for 7 on the power play over the course of the 2 games. Not great at all if you're looking for that growth, but could also be just a little bit of a hiccup.
Taking a look at where they're at in the standings right now, they're in 6th place in the Pacific Division with 44 points, leading Tucson by 1 point in the standings, who are at 43 points. They're in 7th place. 1 point separation, as mentioned before, but these are 4-point games every night because you're right there competing with Tucson. And going into Wednesday's game against Tucson, San Diego, the goals are, Tucson is the only team they're undefeated against all season, but now it shifts to the home game on Wednesday, and that's what's coming up next. It's the first home matchup versus the Roadrunners this season. Chance for a 5th straight win over Tucson, one of 4 games before the All-Star break, and after that, they got 27 games left. No margin for drifting for the goals coming up in their next couple of games. But the big focus is, can the power play respond?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's to play a team like the Tucson Roadrunners. That's where you can kind of get your legs back under you. You've had a lot of success against this team. You've been able to perform very well against this team. You're back in front of your home crowd for quite some time, a home crowd that has consistently been in the top 5 in attendance in the AHL since the team came back 10 years ago. There's a lot that you can focus on and try to recenter yourself against a team you've had so much success against, like Tucson.
This is a goals team that, looks like they could potentially play their way into the playoffs. But then if they're able to get their way into the playoffs, are they built to win tight playoff style games or just survive the regular season? The team clearly has an identity, speed, net front scoring, depth scoring. But when teams clamp down, like Abbotsford did the other night, the goals struggled to create a lot of clean looks. And these power play issues, no longer a blip, they're starting to turn into a trend.
Yeah, and that's a part of the youth. And we talked about, again, earlier on in this segment here, about learning down in the AHL where you're supposed to be learning. And this is all about growth. You want to have these problems sorted out by the time these kids are ready to get up to the next level, get to the NHL. The team, though, overall has to gel a lot better on that power play. And again, a game like Tucson here coming up a little bit later on tonight is a perfect opportunity to be able to do something like that.
The San Diego Gulls feel like a team that knows how to win, but hasn't fully learned how to close yet. All guys joining us on the fan hotline. Join us on the David P. Shapiro fan hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorney, is helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. I'm Braden Surprenant. He's Frank Marchese. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Well, soccer's back in San Diego already. It's next week. And what that means is we can start talking to Drake again on Fridays. Drake Hills joins us on the David P. Shapiro fan hotline. He is a contributing writer for Black Players for Change. He also contributes to ESPN.com for some international play as well. And we got a lot of soccer to talk about in this year with the World Cup coming to the United States. But Drake, we got soccer back in America's finest city next week.
They're back. Indeed. Yeah, Braden. I mean, it's kind of crazy. I get it. San Diego FC is like, wow, already? You know, the fans are like, we already have soccer going already, but this is not normal. Like, we have the Champions Cup to talk about. And unfortunately for other clubs, especially at this level, that's not a given. This is something that San Diego FC has earned, and we're going to get a chance to see them against some of the best clubs in North America and the Caribbean.
Yeah, let's talk about the CONCACAF Champions League and Cup and how this particularly works with San Diego FC qualifying after winning the Western Conference. Let's talk about what San Diego FC fans should be in store for this season with these games added into the MLS schedule.
Yeah, so basically the CONCACAF Champions Cup, is, you know, if you're a soccer fan of any kind, you've probably seen the UEFA Champions League in Europe, where they have the best clubs on the continent play in a knockout tournament, round robin and knockout tournament. That's exactly what the Champions Cup is here in CONCACAF in the North America and the Caribbean. So it's about 27 teams. You've got pretty much everyone represented from the Canadian Championship. Obviously, that's Vancouver FC, not Vancouver Whitecaps, but because Vancouver Whitecaps, they have also their involvement in MLS, so you're going to have them involved as well. Mount Pleasant, who is the best of the best in the Caribbean. They're from Jamaica, so you're going to have 3 from the Caribbean. You're going to have 6 from Central America, anywhere from Costa Rica to Honduras and all over the place. And then, of course, you got your Mexican teams. You've got a couple of Canadian teams as well in Forge FC and Atletico Ottawa. And then, of course, your MLS. So that's San Diego FC, that's Seattle Sounders, who won the Leagues Cup last year, LA Galaxy, Inter Miami being the MLS Cup winner. And you also have Philadelphia Union, Cincinnati, as I mentioned, the Whitecaps, and LAFC. And then, of course, Pumas, who will be facing San Diego in the open round, in addition to the 2 winners of the Mexican tournaments, the Apertura tournament and Liga MX, and then the Clausura. So you have Club America, who won the Apertura, and then Toluca, who won the Clausura, and then, of course, Monterrey Tigres as well. So it's a hodgepodge of the best of the best. And if you won your domestic league, or if you at least finish second, then you get a first-round bye. So Miami, Seattle, Club America, Toluca, they'll have byes, as well as Vancouver and Mount Pleasant from Jamaica. But everyone else starts at round 1.
We're talking with Drake Hills, who's a contributing writer for Black Players for Change, as we talk about the new season for San Diego FC. It's already here. It will be on February 3rd. It'll be the first game here at Snapdragon Stadium, as they will compete in CONCACAF Cup play, CONCACAF Champions Cup play, and then MLS Cup or MLS regular season will start a little bit later. But pretty cool that they get to be part of a tournament, obviously, with the great season that they had last year. Now, Drake, as we get into this game for them on, I think, Tuesday of next week, if I'm not mistaken, or Wednesday, What are some of the challenges that they're going to face in this first game that's not for the MLS, but part of the CONCACAF Champions Cup?
Yeah, I think two things, Braden. I'm going to start with internal, right? We've had a lot of transactions, a couple of players moving out. I know we'll talk about Irving Chucky Lozano in a bit, but even Lozano aside, you've got Franco Negri, who's gone to Houston. You've got Patty McNair, who's gone back to Europe. He signed with Hull City. So a lot of moving and shifting going on at the back end. But then, of course, you have some of your other players that really helps. Obviously, Oni Valakari is back, but you get Lewis Morgan, who will be an incredible addition. Amal Pellegrino, we know what he did at the end of the season. So I think internally it's understanding that what you thought was going to be a long-term plan for some key role players in this San Diego FC team that have gone elsewhere in the offseason. And so it's a new group already, only in year two. And then externally, Pumas is one of the better teams that's always competitive in Liga MX. This is a club that, again, if you are familiar with world soccer, you've got Keylor Navas, a former Real Madrid and PSG goalkeeper. He's with them, Jose Juan Macias. Coco Carrasquilla, who has been a long time Panama national team stalwart, as well as someone who's played a lot of years in Houston Dynamo. You've got a lot of top players there. They once had Aaron Ramsey there as well, if you're a former Arsenal fan. So sitting sixth in the Liga MX season that has already started, this is going to be a new level of competition for San Diego FC.
You might have explained it a little bit earlier, but just to reiterate on how these matches work, the first round, you get 2 games. You get one at home and one on the road. And then how does this play out? I think it's different than the way that the MLS structure was. I think this is more like international play that you see in a lot of other cups and different league champions, leagues and everything like that. But for the casual fan, explain to them how this particular cup works in terms of like the rounds, how many games you play, and how they determine who advances into the next round.
Yeah, so you have essentially 4 weeks worth of round one matchups across all 22 teams that will play in round one. You have 5 of the teams, so that's 27 in total that are in the competition that already have byes into the round of 16. Then it's essentially a knockout all the way down to the final. So this tournament is going to take place from basically next Thursday until May 30th. That's when the final is. And so you're essentially going to have a home and home in round one. And then after that, it's just a knockout all the way through to May 30th. And so, to be clear, the first 4 stages are going to be home and away. So basically all you're thinking about in terms of a one-off is the final itself. So every club that gets a chance to play in this tournament is going to have an opportunity to play at home in the Champions Cup at each round. And then when you get to the final, then of course it's a one-off.
That's a good explanation. That's especially with the way that this tournament's going to be. So this is going to be going on as San Diego FC is getting ready for the regular season and playing regular season games. We're talking with Drake Hills, who comes on to be our soccer guru each and every Friday during the soccer season, which starts on February 3rd. Already next week, San Diego FC will be back in action. But let's talk about kind of the offseason that San Diego FC has put together. I mean, obviously that they have invested in Mikey Varas to be the guy and be here long term. The Chucky Lozano situation continues to be very interesting for most people in soccer, and some other moves that were made for San Diego FC. How would you assess the San Diego FC offseason, and what's your opinion on the Chucky Lozano situation with San Diego FC?
Well, I like that they were very, I guess you could say, anticipatory of what they were going to do. And based off of Lewis Morgan, who I've been following for quite a while now, since his time at Celtic, and he came to MLS. He's been with Red Bulls. He's been with Miami for the better part of, since pre-pandemic, essentially, he's been playing in MLS. Wilson Eisner, you've got Kieran Sargent, obviously very well-known last name. Oswald So from B93. You sign Anders Dreyer to an extension. But again, the biggest signing for me was Lewis Morgan, because what that does is tell me that Chucky Lozano and the plans that don't include Chico Lozano have basically been in play since the end of last year, which brings me to Chucky. This is a tough situation, not for either of the clubs, both currently San Diego State and whoever Chucky is going to go to. It's a tough situation for Chucky Lozano because it's a World Cup year. And World Cup years, if you follow the game, you'll know you really don't want to make any movements but ahead of a World Cup, because you're trying to make the team, which Chucky Lozano's relationship with the Mexican Football Federation has been rocky, to put it politely. Jimmy Lozano, who is someone who was at the top of the federation that Chucky did not have a great relationship with. The last coach that has had a great relationship with Chucky Lozano, the Mexican national team, has been Tata Martino, who's now back with Atlanta United, who I think, apart from Houston Dynamo, is probably one of the two destinations that look attractive, at least from a tactical perspective. Now, as far as Chucky Lozano is concerned, I don't think the problem is a potential team fit. The problem is his salary. Well, let's talk about that, Braden. I mean, the fact that this is a guy who is about $5.25 million difference in terms of guaranteed salary between Lozano and your best player, who is Anders Dreyer. Think about that. Chucky Lozano is getting guaranteed compensation as far as the 2025 salary, $5.25 million. The $5.25 million difference. Now, of course, that's under the contract that Anders Dreyer had before he had his extension over the offseason. But that is just telling you that a player who's earning a little bit over $7.5 million in guaranteed compensation, I don't think that a club in Mexico or in Major League Soccer is willing to pull that trigger. So the problem is, will Chucky Lozano be willing to take a significant pay cut to go to, let's say, a Cruz Azul in Mexico, who is one of the most successful top teams in Mexico and a reigning champion? They have some business to take care of as well to make way for him. But then internally, I don't think he's going to get anywhere near $7.6 or so million a year to go to a Houston or to go to an Atlanta. So the biggest problem for Lozano is, are you willing to take a pay cut to find your next team before the 2026 FIFA World Cup?
I got one last question for you, Drake, and we're running out of time here at the end of the week. But they did make a roster move this week. San Diego FC did. They transferred defender Patty McNair to the EFL Championship side, Hull City, on a permanent deal while retaining a future sell-on percentage. Obviously, he was part of the original backbone of this defensive side for San Diego FC, but it really shows that they're leaning young defensively in the future. How did you see how this roster move played out and what the future is for San Diego going young?
Yeah, I mean, Ian Pilcher has kind of come in and put in a good shift for San Diego FC, or at least on paper looks like a good signing for the future. McVay, obviously one of the great aerial center backs as well. I think that this is, again, like going back to the beginning, that we thought this time last year when you and I were talking about, is San Diego FC going to be good, and are they going to have a playoff season? Are they going to make the playoffs? How deep are they going to go in the playoffs in their inaugural year? We thought that this group was going to be together for at least, a couple of 3 years to see how they would form together. And here we are talking about Chucky Lozano on the way out. We're talking about Patty McNair leaving. Milan Alaski left in the summer. And we haven't really got a chance to see Marcus Ingvartsen much because of his injury-laden season last year. So it's a different situation, but I do think the youth is a great view on what San Diego FC can be for the next couple of years.
Drake, it's good to talk to you again. It's good to have you back for the soccer season. Look forward to next week as we recap the first game of the CONCACAF Champions Cup. Drake Hills joining us from Black Players for Change. He'll be joining us next week. Big appreciation to him for joining us. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant saying so long for the weekend. We'll talk to you guys on Monday. Gwen and Chris coming up next. See you guys tomorrow at FanFest.